I would like everybody to do their destiny. Check your destiny. I've already checked Willa Parn, Captain or Dr. Jotano's destiny, along with Kefin Marrow's destiny, and it's not very fun destiny. So I hope you guys have better destiny than they do.
I think like rolling a dark side point and facing the dark side
well,
itself.
I did think that you could use dark side points to prevent us doing heinous things to Vader.
I was gonna say, guys, we are standing in front of Vader. Of course, there's fucking dark side.
And are we rolling for Talon as well?
Might as well, because it doesn't look like he's coming again.
Talon gives us 2 light side.
Yay!
Actually,
he's useful for something.
Sorry, Gand isn't here, so he doesn't count.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's not. I'm hoping that Adam does show, but I don't know.
You get 4 dark side for me, guys.
Oh, yay!
1 dark side.
Holy shit! Oh, no!
Okay.
Run!
So, 1 from you, 4 from you.
What did you do?
Hey, I am a Force sensitive, carrying a lightsaber, standing in front of Vader. My fate is almost sealed. I make it to the end of the game, I will be most surprised.
Okay, well, I got 1 light side.
1 dark.
Oh, Jesus. And what does the rest of the crew get, Gus?
4 dark side.
We're toast.
So we had, what, 2 light side points?
3. Talon gives us 2.
Oh, you gave us 1. Or no, you gave us a dark side, didn't you?
Yeah.
she gives dark side.
So that was
Didn't
4 dark
want
side
to,
from
but
the
that's
rest of
what
the
the dice,
crew and 2 light
did.
side from Talon, you said?
So we have 3 light side in total.
We're toast. Done. Done like dinner.
So, 3 light side versus how many dark side?
10.
Oh, my heavens.
Yeah. Mega Force usually
should
doesn't
be
actually help anything. It just increases the
exceedingly-
variance.
Yeah, we should be exceedingly glad you don't spend dark side a lot.
Don't encourage him. Don't remind him. Jeez.
Yeah, but if he does, there will be light side.
We'll
Get us
do
out.
3 things this session if he doesn't spend them.
Yep.
Well, last time we saved Wookiee from dying.
There we go.
Because this.
Okay, we saved the light side points for the medic. Okay, that's what we did.
All right, so is everybody ready? Is everybody good to go?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments? Anyone care for a mint? No? All right. So, last time, you were surrounded by stormtroopers. You've never seen that many stormtroopers. It's like a sea of white. And they're standing above and slightly behind, flanked by a couple of gray uniformed Imperial officers of relatively decent standing, if the code cylinders on their chests are any indication. Well, I mean, you guys know him as Vader, but in game, this guy, he's not well known. Vader became infamous through what he did in after the Clone Wars, but they don't put this guy on advertising posters for the New Order. I mean, he's not there's no reality show day in the life of Darth. It just doesn't work that way.
Hey guys.
At the end of the day, don't mind him. That's Maximus. Maximus is just going to watch. People are allowed to watch as long as they're quiet.
Yeah, there's no Uncle Sam like Vader wants you for the Imperial Army.
Yeah, exactly. Vader's not necessarily a secret, but he's not used as part of the PR campaign for the New Order, and it's a good thing, too. It's like, tell us, Lord Vader, what would you like to tell all of the citizens out there? Well, that's fantastic. We're just moving right along now.
I'm going to crush you under the heel of my boot.
So, quite frankly, unless you guys have at least, I don't know, 1 dot in education, it's quite likely you guys have never even heard of this guy. No, you've heard of him, Liam. You've heard of him. You knew about him like, minutes after he was created. You've got
I got
so you know all about him, Jesse. But
The light side point.
I'm not. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing it. I could know, but I'm not.
But I actually do have a.
So I'm
a
quaking
dot
in my
in,
boots in the
Yeah, we
diamond
have other
gem?
reasons to know.
Well, no, I actually have a dot in education.
Or am I with the party now suddenly?
yes, you're magically there.
Okay.
Yes,
We threw you behind rocks when the fighting started.
that's right.
Guys, can we leave now?
You spent all of your time strapped to the back of Dubaka like 3PO.
Except all in one piece.
This is really uncomfortable.
It was okay.
Marrow says, "Protect you, we protect you."
That's what Purple's harness is for, okay?
That's right. All right.
Really a sling.
So, once again, like, there's a deathly silence here. Take their weapons and take them away. So there are many, many white armored hands taking your weapons away, checking you, patting you down, making sure that you haven't got a lightsaber in your boot or something. Poor Will looks like she's gonna crap her pants. Like, for the first time in a long time, you see her hand. She can't take her eyes off Vader. Her hand is just shaking. And one by one, they put heavy-duty restraint binders on you. Now, these aren't like what you and I would understand as handcuffs. They're essentially designed to join your wrists together in front of you, and they're pretty heavy-duty stuff. Like, these things are Wookiee-proof. Like, once that click goes click, that's it. You're going wherever they say you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Marrow says, "What's the meaning of this? We're archaeologists on an archaeological find. You have no business here, and you certainly have no business to accost us like this." You, he says, and just leaves that one word there for a moment, "have been an annoyance to my master for too long. That annoyance will end immediately. Take them away." And you are marched, single file, with the Wookiee in the front, and it's a study in geometry, really, seeing how many stormtroopers can point their blaster carbines at the Wookiee at one time.
Well, he's the most overtly scary thing in the party.
He's literally the cause of a one man Overwatch. Like, it's just like it's like a phalanx of guns sort of side crab stepping beside the stormtroopers that are leading you away. There's something unnerving about the faces of these stormtroopers. I mean, it's entirely possible that throughout your lives you've looked into the armored faces of clone troopers, but these guys are menacing. There's something about that split fisheye bulb-lensed helmet of theirs with the almost tusking protrusions on either side, and that perpetual grimace. It's rather unnerving. Of course, I'm pretty sure Dubaka doesn't care. I'm pretty sure Dubaka wonders exactly how much force per square inch it would take to remove the head within the helmet of such creatures. But
you read my mind, Gus. Actually,
having said that, you're led to a landing ship, which looks an awful lot like a Lambda class shuttle, except that it's got sort of less wing surface and is designed to carry more troops. You're led to a landing ship, and you're sat down in the chairs in the center, and then stormtroopers literally ring all the way around you. There isn't very far for you to travel, because the Star Destroyer a ship whose christening nameplate reads the Exactor. So, by the way, Jesse, you happen to know that the Exactor was one of the first Star Destroyers off the line, the first Imperial class off the line, and it was given to Vader, and so it's his personal flagship. The Executor hasn't been built yet, and it won't be built for another 14 years, 15 years. So for now, he's just got one kick-ass Star Destroyer of his very own, which he's tricked out with everything except spinning rims. But none of that matters right now, because right now it looks like you're headed into the pure darkness because it's blotting out what little sun this accursed planet does get.
It's so nice that the Imperials give us windows to look out of, to watch us enter our impending doom.
Yeah. Front row seats to your imminent doom,
All the better to intimidate you with.
my dear.
Now, Vader doesn't go up on the same transport that you guys do. You're not quite sure what he's doing. Sitting there, you have a bit of time to reflect. And Dan, you're getting a really strange sense coming off of Jotana. It's tugging at your force sense, which is very strange because Jotana has never tugged at your force sense before. What are you looking for, Craig?
I was just looking for tissue or something like that so I can, use the marker. I'm just going to go grab a paper towel.
Okay. So, using my basic sense power, I figure out what her current emotional state is.
Hate. Probably, if they could take hate and refine it, pull out all the unnecessary elements that gussy it up and basically refine it down to its pure element, this would be 99.9% pure hatred. And it's radiating off of her in waves. But there's something more to it than that, and you're having trouble pinpointing exactly what it is. It's almost as if that she's got all of her hate, but there's almost too much hate for one single being to have. But in all of the time that you've been able to use the Force to sense other people's emotions, you have never felt hate that strong. Never. Not one time.
Interesting. I will tuck it back in the back of my mind that she actually may also be carrying a Force Ghost somewhere in here.
Wasn't she the one carrying the awful mask?
Oh no, we've been stripped of all of our possessions.
Yeah, not all of you were able to observe. Not all of you were able to observe what was taken from the others of you. The good news is that the Kovak War Haze patch was not detected in you, by the way, Chewbacca.
Oh. It's going to be a big surprise for some stormtroopers soon.
How thoroughly did they go over my coat?
They took your coat. That's how thoroughly they went over it.
So everything that's in there is
armor,
in there.
If it looks like armor, it's gone.
Did they at least leave me the harness, or do they care?
They did until you got off the transport. Then they took the harness off because there was a junior officer there with a data pad looking you over, and he apparently matched the harness with another piece of memorabilia that the Empire was interested in, and it was promptly taken away from you. All of your stuff is put into two hexagonal-based bins marked prisoner property. The numbers are long, but later on you can decide to make a roll to remember which bin is yours if you ever get that far.
Or we could just slice them all open and grab stuff. It could be ours now.
Oh, this one smells! Oh, God!
Oh God.
Oh no, this guy carried around the corpse of a Jawa. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh no.
Personal effects. 614's official effects. 614.
So, after a long period of time, your transport comes to a rough stop with a heavy clang as the docking clamps take hold of it. And then there's a few extra minutes, another couple of clangs, and then the stormtrooper commander. Now, he's the dude with the white pauldron. He stands up, says, "Okay, bring the prisoners." And so you are ushered out down a long corridor, down another long corridor. And it's amazing how matter-of-fact all of this is. I mean, you know, you people may be heading to your executions, but as far as everybody else is concerned, it's just another day on the exactor. Nobody seems to care. Even the MSE droid, the little four-wheeled MSE droid, squeakles past you with no regard whatsoever to who or what you are.
Can I roar at the mouse droid? Just 'cause.
Yes, you receive 2 rewards for your audacity. The first one is eminently pleasurable. The mouse droid squeaks, does a 180, and takes off in the other direction. The second is you receive the butt of a rifle in the back of the head.
It was worth it.
The good news is that since your head is so hard, you barely felt that shit any old way.
It was worth it.
One of the junior officers looks at you and says, "I don't know what you're thinking, but you're already in a great deal of trouble. If you continue to be problematic, this will go worse for you. I guarantee it. Lord Vader has little patience and even less understanding. I suggest you go quietly and attempt to cooperate wherever possible."
You're second.
"I don't know what you've said, and I don't particularly care. Take them to the cells." So now they march you into turbo lifts. So this is fun. For most of you people get a 3 stormtrooper escort in the turbo lifts. They try to play an old college game called Pack the Phone Booth, except the phone booth is a turbo lift, and it's Pack the Wookiee and see how many stormtroopers they can fit in there besides.
Well, if the Wookiee can't move.
Some of these stormtroopers actually loan blaster carbines to each other, so that they can put up a blaster carbine in each hand. Your last count is like 18 weapons trained on you at the same time. You're pretty sure if you were able to suddenly drop down, this would turn into the stereotypical Italian firing squad. But you know, I mean, literally, it's comical watching. Like near the end, he was like, "Oh, okay. On 40662-8, move to the left. I can't quite get. Okay, can we close the doors? Oh, no, can't quite. Oh, TK466, you're going to have to get out. Okay, all right, sorry about that." Literally, it's a comedy of fucking errors. It's like Casual Fall. How these people manage to conquer a galaxy, you have no idea. So the doors eventually close, and you guys go wandering up. The doors open again, and there's a black enamel Star Trek, or there's a black enamel Star, what you and I would now know as a Death Star translator droid, just sort of standing there, kind of like an evil version of C-3PO, standing there looking at you up and down. "Stand aside, droid." The droid sort of shuffles back, and then becomes the Tetris game to get you out of the thing. The friggin' turbo lift almost tries to go away like twice, like. There's one time where you're almost in a turbo lift with all of 2 stormtroopers, and it almost gets away before somebody puts their hand out over the doors and shut. Like, oh, this is just. They've got to find a better way to do this. But
I'm sure they will.
But eventually you are pulled into a detention block. And I'm just going to give you an idea as to what that looks like. There you go. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right, so here's a giant open shaft. I don't know why they would have that in a prison. I really don't. But you guys came out of turbo lifts. What was that?
I said, okay, throw her in the hole.
That's right.
It's basically a really good oubliette.
You can accidentally bump a stormtrooper. Ah!
This is. Oh, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, sorry. So you guys, so most of you guys came out of one of these turbo lift shafts, and then you're taken into the individual blocks. Now these sort of housing areas are an individual block. Dubaka and Liam, you're sort of sent up here. Tobin and Vani is sent here. Marrow and Jotana is sent here. And Willa and who's left? Oh, and Talon are sent here. I got everybody?
South, east, west.
Yeah, north, south, east, west.
Okay, because I can't say we can't see your cursor, so we don't know where.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's a PDF, so I don't. Yeah, so the first. So I'll just go over it again. Dubaka and who did I say?
William.
And Dubaka and Salem go here. Vanny and Tobin go here. Marrow and Jotana go here. And the last two go here. So that's Talon and Willa go there.
Okay.
Okay? Alright. Oh, for crying out loud.
So note to self, when we get out, go for Talon and Willa first.
Now each of these little squares, now you can't really see it all that well. I'll try and zoom in here. Because this is a very old picture. This picture was created in the early 90s as part of the Death Star plan, the Death Star plan for the West End game, Star Wars game.
Oh, Jesus.
Now these faint squiggles here, these are the security desks in the detention block. So that whole conversation where Han Solo said, "I'm fine, we're fine, everybody's fine," that was held in one of these areas here.
Gotcha.
And then the steps go down. Yeah, the steps go down and then down again, and then the steps here. These steps here, they go down and then down again. You guys are marched straight through. Those of you that are yeah, you're marched straight through. And Dubaka, you're put in here. And Liam, you're put in here. And it's basically the same in each one of the other areas. The point is that you're put in a cell that's directly opposite to each other at the very end of the primary spoke of the detention block. Okay? Follow so far?
Okay.
So at first you're thrown in there and you're left there. The first thing you lose track of is time. No idea what time it is. There is a small light on in that cell all the time, 24/7. And it's a light panel that's sort of tucked underneath the... it's tucked underneath one of the lips of metal, whatever. The cells are tough, really tough. I mean, we're talking like the kind of alloys that you use to protect, like, it's like ship armor tough. There's no physical access to anything. Not even a Wookiee could crack these wall panels. The doors are even tougher.
Did they only
Shortly after you're put in there, you're given a meal. You're pretty sure that the reason you're given a meal is that you're sort of on the schedule, and on that schedule, everybody gets their meal at that schedule. Now, your meal is delivered through a slot in the wall. You get one plate with some sort of big biscuit on it, one cup of water, no utensils.
And they didn't even unlock the restraints they slapped on our arms?
Yes, they did. Actually, excuse me, those were unlocked automatically the minute you stepped in the cell. All they did was collect them and walk out and give you the usual shove. Unfortunately, the usual shove didn't work so well against you, Dubaka, because, you know, they're half the size you are, and when they shove, you just sort of look at them and sniff. But they back out of the cell, like, holding their blaster carbines in front of them. They back out of the cell very slowly, making sure you don't do anything. And then that really fast, really hard slamming down of the door. It's like the door becomes a pneumatic ram at that point. It's like chunk. That's done. So now you have a cup of water and a biscuit. I don't know if any of you have ever encountered sailor's biscuit, sometimes known as hardtack.
I've heard lots of descriptions. This is the sort of thing that is designed to be stored indefinitely, and is probably best eaten if you dip it in the water until it's a little bit soft and then chew it gingerly.
Yeah. Unless you're an angry Wookiee, in which case you just chew it.
No. I'm looking around myself to see if there's anything that indicates a camera.
If there's one here, it's very well hidden. Would you like to make a formal check?
Yeah, sure. I'll make a perception check, I guess, just to see.
You'll be making the check against one red and one purple.
Do.
And there's one setback die because it's not very bright in here.
Okay, just give me 1 second here.
Takes your time.
Because time is about all we have.
So currently, without the setback die, because I rolled before you mentioned it, currently sitting at 1 advantage, 1 failure.
Well, roll the setback die and we'll see what that does to your life.
Actually came up nothing.
Good. Did you say 1 advantage and 1 failure?
Yeah, 1 advantage, 1 failure.
Well, you have no idea where the camera is. But the good news is they seem to have given you an extra biscuit.
Whoop-de-doo.
Hey, listen, you're going to need those.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll rely on my resilience.
Even if it's just to put 4 or 5 of them in a sock and use them to beat your your enemies.
Wow. I actually just sort
You're going to have to hoard your biscuit.
no, take the water, pour it out onto the floor.
Do the Klingon thing. I do not trade with my enemies.
That's right. I drink to my enemies, not with them.
Except they do.
If their enemies are the Klingons,
Oh, okay.
then that's fine.
All right.
So they'll gather on, one ship or another. They'll go, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you tomorrow. All right, great, let's go."
Gather in a neutral location. They do though there's fun Klingon things, and then they go back to their ships to try and kill each other.
Yep.
But they are all Klingons.
So you spend an awful lot of time in contemplation. Just sitting there, contemplating your navel. Now, Liam,
Mm-hmm.
you know that any time they're going to start asking you questions. You're not necessarily here just because you're being detained, although you are being detained. It is a detention block. But at any point, they're going to start asking you questions.
Yep.
It's just a question of how they're going to do it. If they take you out and bring you to a very specific, specialized torture area, it's going to be a whole festival of unpleasantness. It's going to be like an unpleasantness convention, complete with unpleasantness cosplayers and unpleasantness merch tables.
I'm sure Salem has had some kind of preparation training for torture.
You've had, yeah, you,
So
yeah.
hey, this is what you're going to go through. You're probably going to last about this long.
That's how long you have to make up a story.
if you get the special treatment, you'll last about this long.
That's right. And if the interrogator droid puts the red hot relay in there,
This is the time to go yelp.
So, one of the big things that you know is that the Empire is very big on drugs. A lot of Imperial Inquisitors and Imperial interrogators, specifically when they come from the naval tradition, don't like to get the icky nasty on them. They don't like it at all. Now, there are a few guys, like Armand Dissard, for instance, who just love to get neck deep in an interrogatee's ass. Oh, they just love it. They oh my heavens, they live for that. It's like, did you see that? I got that organ to burst, and it rainbow green shit all over me. I'm telling you, I'll be days getting that out of the uniform, if at all. But most of these guys are not into that. So what they will probably do is they will probably send in the interrogator droids. They'll probably pump you full of one drug or other, and then see what shakes out afterwards. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is Vader's around here someplace. And if he gets involved, it's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, but not so much with the fun parts.
Well, the good thing about Vader is he probably won't last long enough to say anything anyway.
Probably. And so you wait. Now, the first person to be contacted by anybody, and the first indication that you're contacted, is you hear a dull clanging noise, Vanny, and then the door slides up, shunk, and two naval troopers. Now, the naval troopers are dressed all in black. They're not dressed in armor, except that they have those unfeasibly large black helmets on. And they've got sort of heavy gloves, and they're big burly dudes with blaster pistols and shock sticks. And they come walking in. There's an interrogator there who is dressed in a gray uniform with a black. The breast of the uniform is black, but the rest of it is gray, with the little peaked cap. And he comes in. And then you hear a and an IT-0 interrogation droid floats in. Looks a little like that. Everybody see that?
Yeah, we see it.
Now, this over here, that would be the sticky part. I don't even want to know what this is. I don't even know. I don't want to know what that is. Or that. Or that. I definitely don't want to know what that is. But this is the part the ITO droid seems most interested in introducing to your tender flesh. Now, as the needle slips in, the ISB officer waits for a moment, puts two fingers on your neck to check your pulse. And it's very quiet for a moment. Now, here's the thing. Before I'm going to have you make a discipline check to see how many beans you spill. But before you do that, I want you to make a resistance check to see how well you manage to hold up against this stuff. The difficulty of the first resistance check is 1 red and 2 purple. Yes, it's very difficult.
Drugs do their shit.
And what is it I'm using for
Resilience.
Resistance. Is it resilience or
It's
resistance?
called resilience.
Whoops. Yes, look for resilience.
Okay, so that's
It's based on your brawn if you're not skilled.
Oh no, that droid is going in some trooper space.
What was that? Was that correct?
down completely and utterly before they bring anything near you.
Your room will get gassed.
Yeah. Probably. Probably. No, I'm probably one of the ones that's slated for this special treatment. Of course, given their disdain for like other species, they may just sort of be arrogant enough to say,
He's not worth it. He's not used. Also, they probably have no way of communicating with you effectively.
Oh, just remember though, the Empire highly prizes Wookiees.
As slaves.
as slaves. Yeah, no, that is 2 failures and 1 advantage net.
Okay,
Yes.
so you've garnered 2 advantages, 2 failures, and 1 advantage.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get 2 setback dice to your discipline check, and that would be that. So your discipline check.
So it'll be 2 black.
Yeah. So your discipline check. Hang on a sec. Your discipline check is essentially against the same difficulty.
So that was 1 red, 2 purple.
So it's 1 red, 2 purple, plus you add 2 black dice for setback, and then whatever you've got for discipline, which I'm sure you're a paragon of. Now, no snickering.
I don't think I come up with anything on that one. Or at least anything good.
4 failures.
Okay.
I know everything.
As I said, I didn't think I'd come out with anything good.
My mom's name is Kelly. My dad's name is Bob. The dog's name is Spot. When I was a little kid, I stole candy. I ate the Lindbergh baby.
I did chop down that cherry tree. I did
Which
chop
means
it
she
down.
doesn't reveal the location of their true homeworld.
Or anything particular. So I failed anything else. Okay, they're going to get a flood of useless information. As he said, everything I can think of.
Right. Well, the nice thing about interrogations is that you really only have to answer what they ask you. And the first question that the Imperial officer wants to know is, where do you take the artifacts that you unlawfully acquire from the Empire?
And this thing is essentially babbled.
Now, I want to explain how this particular drug works, okay?
Okay.
The way it works is that when you lie or when you attempt to prevaricate, the drug works with your immune system and causes you to break out in rashes and hives. Now, Salem, if you were there, you would know this drug as OV600. And OV600 is what they use essentially against people who aren't necessarily physically fit, because people have died from having OV600 used on them. But the big deal with OV600 is that the less you lie, the safer you are.
Be that as it may, you have now become a criminal threat.
Did the interrogator bother to tell me what the drug is going to do to me?
This is true lunacy. We...
Did the interrogator tell you? No. No. All the interrogator did is ask questions, and the first question he asked is where do you send the artifacts that you steal from the Empire?
On the other hand, I don't actually know where they end up. So I can actually honestly say I don't know. And it's the truth.
It is and it isn't. You do feel a bit of an itch. You know what you do with them.
It's a hack.
But yeah, I won't. You're laughing. I won't. It's probably not a good idea to laugh in the face of your Imperial interrogator. No, I'm just kidding. I know you're not doing that. He sort of snaps his fingers, and one of the other troopers from outside the cell brings him a folding stool, and he sits down in front of you. And, by now you can barely get up off the bunk. It's not the best idea to lie to us. Surely you must have some idea what ultimately becomes of the treasures that you take. Do you rendezvous with the ship?
Sometimes.
What is this ship called?
Do I even actually know?
No, you have no idea.
I shrug.
What class is the ship? That you do know. It's a CR-90 type Corellian corvette.
Corvette.
A Corellian corvette?
Who else makes them?
CR-90 class.
I see what shrugging again gets me. Do I feel the drug, or do I get hit, or
It
what?
gets a little itchy, but yeah. You seem to be spared the worst reaction. What is the name of your contact aboard that ship?
I don't have a name, do I, for that?
No.
Not my job.
It is going to be difficult to secure your re-education and release into civilian life if you cannot demonstrate that you're being more cooperative. You might not believe this, but the Empire does not enjoy or relish these things. We ask questions because we must. We ask questions because we've no choice.
Because you're... Never mind.
No, speak freely. This may be the only opportunity you have to do so. Perhaps for some time. If you don't have any information, we don't have any need to talk to you, and therefore you don't have any need to see another living being ever again.
My views on your government are not helpful.
That, my dear, he says as he leans forward, is why you're here. He stands up, picks this. What's that?
What is your next question?
I've asked all the questions of you that I want to know. Oh, actually, there is one more. Who built your ship? Not the little jumper that you came to the planet with. That big one that's orbiting somewhere around here. We will find it. And when we do, it will go into Imperial impound, just like your precious Diamond Jack. But who built it? It doesn't conform to any class we've ever seen.
Which point I smile, stretch a little bit, and say, that was built by a bunch of very grateful Verpine.
Truly.
I would have told him I was nuts.
Well, perhaps there is more to speak of at a later time, because I would be absolutely fascinated to know what a Verpine hive would want to give to you in any case.
Invite me to dinner and maybe I'll tell you the story.
Charming. Until next time. And with that, he's gone. Salem,
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting on your bunk, and in comes the interrogation droid. In comes the smug-looking ISB guy with his shake and bake interrogation training and his little shock stick and his little black-breasted gray uniform with his little prim little gloves.
I hope this isn't your first day. I'd hate to get a bad interrogation from someone. So unprofessional.
He snaps his fingers, and one of the troopers brings him a stool that he can sit on. He looks at you, he puts his hands on his knees, and he stares at you for a few minutes, with the interrogation droid hovering over his head. Eventually, he waves the interrogation droid off, and he tells the troopers to go and stand by the door. He lifts up a data pad, and he looks at the data pad. They say that the average sentient being usually carries between 6 and 25 distinguishing biometric markings. Do you know that you currently only carry 2?
Yeah.
The first is your retinal pattern signature, and the second is your voice.
Fascinating. But yes.
What's fascinating is that your current visual image checks out with the Old Republic Intelligence Service database.
Were you smart enough to dig any deeper than that?
The Empire, my superiors, have no wish to know what sordid things you did while serving the corrupt Old Republic. They're far more concerned about what you're doing at this moment in the name of and against the grace of the Emperor. So, in short, we've allowed that you can keep many of your little secrets, but in return, there are some questions we have, and one way or another, as I'm sure you're well known of, and you understand correctly, we will have our answers.
I'm waiting.
The artifacts that you steal from the Empire,
Mm-hmm.
who do you give them to?
I have no idea. I can describe them for you.
Please.
He's short, long black hair, big bushy beard. That's about all I remember. Seemed distinguished.
Short, long black hair, big bushy beard. Human,
Yes, of course.
Corellian,
Probably not.
tell me something. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer that this droid behind me administer OV-600 or Bravo 6? Do you wish your mind broken or your body?
It's a tough choice.
Make it quickly. I'm not a man who operates without a timetable.
I think my body would break first. So my body.
OV-600 it is. So Jesse, make the resistance test. The difficulty again is 1 red, 2 purple. After the resistance test, we'll use the results to see how your discipline check goes.
Gus, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The discipline check, would that be considered a coercion check? Or like,
Yeah, that's a coercion check.
good to know.
You have things that help?
I'm just wondering if I do. I don't think I do.
No.
I do.
Okay.
Oh, you
It's
do.
called intimidating. I can upgrade or downgrade coercion checks.
Jesse, how's that check coming?
That's despair, isn't it?
Yep.
Ooh. Oh dear.
Perhaps a little too much knowledge is
But no,
detrimental.
that's his resistance to the drug.
Yeah, okay.
So, am I even coherent at this point?
Well, if it's a despair, then you get two automatic failures on the discipline check.
Okay.
But you still get to make the discipline check under the same difficulty of 1 red, 2 purple. You just add 2 automatic failures to that check.
Right. Pretty sure it's still 2
Do you
green.
need to know that?
Yep. 1 success, so 1 failure and 3 disadvantages.
So that's taking into account the 2 automatic failures.
Yeah.
Now
That is 4
Now that I've injected something that should make you a bit more pliable, allow me to ask the question again. Who do you give the artifacts to that you steal from the Empire?
Like I said, dignitary.
Boy, that's itchy. You haven't broken out yet, but boy, oh boy, that's itchy.
I don't know his name.
Did I recognize?
Bail Organa?
Bail-
Not at first. No, you haven't recognized him. I mean, you could probably guess,
I
but
could probably guess he's from Alderaan, just from his clothes.
yeah, definitely. Probably royalty.
Yeah, he's probably from Alderaan.
Alderaan. Much better. Does he still have the long hair and the bushy beard?
For a man, yeah. Long hair and the beard, yeah.
Oh, the itch is starting to grow there. But once again, you're not breaking out per se. Do you rendezvous with a ship?
Yep.
What kind of ship? What's it called?
Corellian Corvette, I think is what. Yeah, it's a Corellian Corvette.
CR-90.
Sure, I don't know model numbers. It's the new one.
Quite. Often used by the rebel scum to get what they want. But we'll soon bring them to heel.
Remind me not to buy one when I get the chance.
Who was your case handler when you worked for Republic Intelligence?
I can't remember his name offhand. Jesse can't remember his name offhand, but he gives it to him.
Approximately how many missions did you undertake for the Republic in intelligence service when you worked for them?
Salem thinks for about 5-10 minutes, and he's like, you see him counting on his hands, like about 2 dozen.
The security officer stands up and then stands close to you and says, "You seem to have made a most efficacious security officer. It's unfortunate that you picked the wrong side." And with that, with an underhanded swing, he tosses the bench at his troopers and everybody walks out. And the interrogation droid says, "Please try not to vomit on the floor." Whoa, 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 whoa. Out of the room it goes. Meanwhile, Dan, shunk. And this time, there is no interrogation droid, no troops, no ISB officer. There is only Vader.
Go figure.
Now, I do actually know a Vader, correct?
Well, you seem to have enough education that would indicate that you've heard of him. Who is your master?
I don't have a master.
Do not lie to me, boy. You have taken your first steps down the path of the Force.
but you are untrained, untutored, but you bear the marks and signature of a master. I will ask you again, and then it will go badly for you. Who is your master?
Yeah, again, nobody ever trained me. And this whole force thing really only happened within the last year. So if you want a name, I got nothing to give you.
For the longest time, he just stands there and stares at you.
It is possible that you do not know. It is possible that this master has poisoned your mind. You are Mandalorian, correct?
Yeah.
The Clone Wars and my master has been exceedingly hard on your people. That must make you very angry.
No, not really. We were living here on Corellia when all that, or we were living on Coruscant when all that happened.
How were your parents killed?
I believe it was a shitload of your troopers.
Your neck suddenly gets a little tight, and then it gets just a little tighter.
Have a care how you speak with me. I find you momentarily amusing, but do not push your luck.
And then the feeling dissipates.
Neat trick.
You do not know the power of the dark side.
That one off his list of stock phrases.
But you will. I will teach you. And I will find your master, and I will destroy him.
Okay.
The only question left for you to answer is, will you serve the Empire, or will you allow it to destroy you? That is a question I will permit you to contemplate.
And with that, he turns his back and sort of a billowing of that black cape of his, and he strides out of the detention room.
As he's leaving, capes or so last year.
The door slams shut.
Vader is set on recreating something even older. Thus, last year does not matter to Vader. A century might get his attention.
To be fair, Lando, being the retro hipster that he is, brought it back.
Retro hipster. Lando's been called a lot of things, but a hipster isn't one of them.
Not only did I bring back capes, I also brought back bell bottoms.
And porn stashes.
And the platform shoes.
That's right. The guy looks like a gay stage magician. It's crazy.
Did you work in Vegas last year? I'm sure I've seen you before.
No, I'm not going to make the bad pun.
In the future, Vegas is an entire space station.
That's right. Cloud City, Vegas. Cloud City, New Vegas. Gambling. Gambling never changes. So, and it follows inevitably, as the night must follow the day, that you are interrogated. Six troopers come in the room, along with the interrogator, the interrogator droid sort of floats in, bobbing along happily, and attempts to inject ye.
Decisions. Grab the droid, smash the troopers.
Don't forget your Kovac war haste patch.
Oh, I know. If ever there was a time to escape, this would probably be it. Because otherwise, binders go back on, and it's just sort of like, yeah, you want to step into that furnace, please?
Yeah, the Ugnaughts are leading you to happy fun times.
Exactly.
That's the only good news about this place. You'll be killed by proper humans. None of this Ugnaught nonsense.
Hey, how does that drug work again?
All you have to do is slap your chest. Well, you basically have to punch yourself in the chest, but not like hard enough to break a bone. And then instantaneously, you can start trading critical rolls for 1 triumph on every combat check you make. You get 1 triumph for free. After that 1 triumph, every triumph that you select, and you can have a maximum of 1 per turn. Every triumph you take causes a critical hit to be rolled. Every subsequent one adds 20 to that critical hit.
Right. Okay. How close are these troopers together?
They're trying to spread out around you, but since you've backed yourself against the wall, that's a little hard to do.
Would it be close enough to hit 2 of them?
Yes.
Fine. Then I go paff, grab the interrogation droid, smash it over the heads and shoulders of two of the troopers.
Okay, so you're using an interrogation droid as an impromptu weapon.
Yup.
Excellent. Give me a melee check. Difficulty would be 2 purple.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second here.
Or not. Yeah, I guess it would be. Well, I mean, you're using a melee weapon, so.
Smash it over.
I'm not going to make you roll to grab the interrogator droid because, frankly, it's right there. I mean, you'd have to be cross-eyed to miss it.
Exactly.
Go to grab it. Ow, what was
Are
that?
you
Oh,
kidding me? 1 failure and 2 advantages. I can't believe that shit.
automatic triumph.
Remember your automatic triumph.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to have to use it then.
So, factoring in your automatic triumph, what does that give you? So now I can't remember the failure in the triumph will cancel out, or the success in the triumph will cancel out the failure in your check.
Yeah.
And then you're left with the triumph. So, yeah, bonk. It startles them more than anything else, and it gives you automatic initiative when the combat comes up, because we're doing initiative now. So now you automatically get to go first because you've startled the crap out of them. And the droid's none too impressed neither.
I guess I didn't damage them at all then.
You didn't actually get a success. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, pound him again.
He's still holding the droid.
Until the droid falls apart, it's a weapon.
And potentially a shield.
Droidkin ball.
And successes, you can stick them with the pointy bits, which have drugs.
That's right.
No, they have armor.
No, they have armor. I'll save that for the interrogator.
They only have armor on their heads.
Broken bits of armor?
These are Death Star troopers. They've only got armor on their heads.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those idiots.
All
Oh,
right.
the shovelhead guys?
Yeah. The naval troopers.
So yeah, you can stick them with the pointy bits.
How do you
All
like
right.
that, motherfucker?
Yes, and this stuff is probably filled with Bravo 6, which is a drug that works on the mind, not the body. They'll be sitting in a room swatting at fake images for like hours.
All right. So
But personally, I'd simply go the club route, frankly.
well, you know what? If I get another triumph on my own, Yeah, that's what I'm using it for.
Right on. Well,
So here we go. Much better. 3 successes and 2 advantages.
okay. So I'll give. I will give the thing a. We'll treat it like a club. So I'll give it a 3 damage, and a critical of. Actually, somebody want to crack open a screen and see what a baton or a club would give?
Probably a crit 2.
No, crit 2 is way too easy. For a club,
Yeah.
probably like 5.
Anybody got a screen there?
Just give me a second. We didn't take the screens out, but I got my PDF open. Gaffy stick.
Yeah, probably close.
Yeah, I'll treat it like a gaffy stick.
It's got a crit of 3. It's got a damage of 2.
Well, that's not enough. I give it a damage of 3 plus your brawn.
Well, a damage of 3 is essentially the equivalent of a force pike or a vibro axe.
Oh, that's no good. Okay, damage of 2 plus your brawn.
8, 6, 7. That would be 8.
Oh yeah, that's enough to take this guy out.
Yay for feral strength.
All right, so 1 down, 5 to go. It's now their turn, though. But since they're probably not stupid enough to pull their blaster pistols out and start shooting at short range, they are going to try to grapple you. And this is pretty funny because I don't think the grapple rules work really well. But we'll definitely see. Iron combat, improvised weapons.
And if they are going to engage with me, they have to make a fear check.
Oh. There we go. A fear check, you say?
Yep. Difficulty 1 purple.
What are they rolling that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are they rolling for their fear check? Is it discipline?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, I'm not touching them. Here's hoping.
No, the fear check means that they have penalties.
Yeah.
So a disadvantage. Yeah. A disadvantage and a success. So they make it, but they're scared. They're going to take a setback die in their attacks for this turn.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're going to try to figure out how to grapple you. Prize weapons. What's this? Size differences.
Okay.
Concealment.
It's on page 211.
If you're going to go out, you might as well go out in a blaze of glory.
Have you got it?
Take a whole bunch of people to the.
It's one of the little black squares.
Oh, okay. I might not.
So, being a more narrative game, does not possess specific rules for grappling. Instead, combat rules have been designed to narratively cover multiple unarmed fighting techniques, including grappling. For this reason, the basic brawl attack allows characters to deal damage to the target's strength threshold and can knock them prone and disorient them. This is the narrative of a grapple, which is often intended to incapacitate without killing, without additional rules.
Okay, so that being the case,
Is it a contested check, or is this like...
It's combat check.
no, they basically just attack you. There's no contested ooby-dooby check.
But it's brawl, so no
Okay.
weapons. Which means you get all of your soap.
But since there's 5 of them, and they're essentially a minion group, what's the difficulty? Should only be like 2, right?
Yeah, standard melee combat.
Yeah.
So basic brawl attack has a damage of their brawl rating. a range of engaged, a critical rating of 5, and the disorient 1 and knockdown qualities.
Right. All right. So, oh my God. 1 success and 3 triumphs.
Oh boy.
Or wait a minute. No, it's not. 3 advantages. Excuse me. 3 advantages.
I was gonna say.
It's like,
One success. 1 success and 3 advantages. So that would be 3 damage. And I need what's the critical again? 5?
5.
Never mind a critical. So 3. You suffer 3 strain.
I suffer 3 strain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is or was
Which
so. In
Yeah.
a second, just looking up the
I take nothing.
qualities here.
Can they do damage to a Wookiee?
Can they damage a Wookiee? I've only got a brawn of 3.
But you have soak.
Soak.
Additional soak value doing from your talents.
No. I got more wounds.
Oh.
I've got 23 wounds.
Do you have soak without your armor?
I can't wear, well, unless Sassoon gives me some specialized armor, I can't wear armor.
No, he didn't make you a suit, so it's all west.
All brawn. So I take nothing.
You take nothing.
So it's I guess with the it assumes that for your qualities it requires 2 advantages unless otherwise stated. So the disorient 1, which is your basic brawl attack, you can daze an opponent when a disorient is triggered. The target is disoriented as per page 218 for a number of rounds equal to the weapon's disorient rating. There's also knockdown. So the knockdown trigger, the character is knocked prone, unless specifically specified otherwise. Knockdown requires 2 advantages to trigger, plus 1 additional advantage per silhouette beyond 1.
So they need
So
4
they
advantages to knock down.
No.
Oh,
I'm
no.
assuming we're still the same. All characters are still at 1.
Okay. So they got enough success or advantages to knock him down.
They can either disorient him, or they can knock him down. They can't do both. But
Well,
they got 3 advantages.
They're gonna try. They're gonna disorient you.
And what does that do? Setback die or something like that?
Disorient. Disorient character adds a setback to all checks they make. Most effects of the disorient character last for a set duration. So I believe 1 round. The duration is not set; it lasts until the end of the character's next turn.
Right.
So till the end of your next turn, you add a setback die to everything you do.
Yeah.
All right. Now you have 2 more turns, after which the alarm will have been successfully raised. So,
Okay.
you'd better do some bashing.
I will do some bashing, and I will take 1 strain to upgrade my last melee die. Give me 4 yellows. And I will continue to bash away at these troopers. Five successes, 2 disadvantage.
Uh-huh.
So 5 plus my brawn is 8, plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11.
That's enough to take 2 more of them out.
Bash, bash.
So now there's all of 3 left. And for the 2 disadvantages, jeez.
2 strain.
Yeah, 2 strain.
Okay. It's the first time I've ever actually used this fucking skill.
Now it's their turn. And there's only 3 of them left.
Which means their fighting prowess is reduced.
Bring it on.
I live for the shit. Now, oh jeez, they're under orders, so they're going to try to follow them. So that's 32. Okay, they're going to try and restrain you again.
It's those three guys stuck behind the piano, Mongo's pushing them up against the wall.
One of them tries to each grab my arm.
They're just really not doing very well. 2 advantages. So they're gonna use those 2 advantages to put 1 strain on you.
Kidoki.
Rather than a setback die.
Okay.
Your turn. Oh no.
Okay, so I will again take 1 more strain to upgrade my last melee die. I still have the setback die, right?
Yep.
No.
No, actually it comes off. They're right. It comes off this
It's
turn.
for one. It's only lasts for 1 round.
So I'm gonna try that again.
It's one resilient droid.
3 successes, 1 disadvantage.
Okay.
So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9.
Another one drops. There's 2 left.
Okay.
This time they figure they're fighting for their lives. So
Drug. That'll give you 1 additional success. Hopefully take out a second one, and then you can use the crit to take it third.
Yeah, there's 2 left.
There was 3. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Well, you
just
got
said
9, or you got 9 damage.
6.
So how much
8,
would
9.
10 damage take out 2 of them?
unfortunately, they have a little bit of soak. So you've already taken out. I mean, you've taken out 1. So as of now, there's 2 left.
No, but for example, he can use his drug.
Oh, to take out an extra one? Yeah, you should be able to do that.
And would the success from that triumph make the basic damage enough to knock 2 guys out? So essentially wiping them out completely.
No, there'd still be 1 guy left. It's not quite enough to get the job done because they do have a little bit of soak.
To get it down to 1 dude.
Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll mark
Better
it. here.
triumphs are automatic crit, aren't they?
Which on a minion group automatically takes 1 out.
Right.
From what Gus has said.
Okay, so yeah, I'll take the second drug hit and knock him down to 1.
Would you please determine? Would you please determine his crit, but we'll hold it in abeyance until the end of the scene?
On the screens. Oh, Gus's back.
I'm keeping track. I've used it twice.
Well, no, you only do 1 crit. Right? The first one was free.
No, but I'm keeping track of how many times I've used the drug. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but only the second time counts.
I don't have to be carrying a Wookiee out of here.
You won't.
That's right. Carry him by his balls. That'll wake him up.
Just if you can roll your D100,
Hmm.
your percentile. You figure
That
out what
happens
it is.
after the drug wears off.
Yeah, no, but we figured out what it is, and it doesn't hit you until it wears off.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, you got to figure out what is the actual. You roll the die, you roll the crit, and then every additional hit that you take after that adds 20 more. So just boost it by 20.
Okay, so yeah, shut up, Disney, Lucasfilm. Fuck off. So 1, 2, and I add how much?
Nothing.
Add nothing. So, ooh, ouch.
Ooh.
90, 96.
Okay. It's gonna be bad.
Probably.
All right.
Then you take a crit after the effects wear off.
Once it wears off.
All right. So now the last guy is reaching for his code cylinder, not his blaster. He's reaching for, or not his code cylinder, but his comm link. He's reaching for his comm link. Excuse me. Now, where you can, if your physical attack against him is a success, you can take him out before he ever gets a chance to say a word.
Okay. Do I have any setback dice or anything like that to add to
No, no. Just you've got your 2 purple dice, But it's time for the dark side, so one of those purple dice becomes a red die.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm going to take the strain to, again, upgrade my last one.
Be one type.
4 successes. That should be more than enough to take this guy out.
You punch his head right out of his helmet. It's really quite something. He's got a blaster pistol on him, and he's got a comm link in his hand. He's got a code cylinder on his belt. You might want those, or maybe not, depending on how you're feeling at the time.
Is the
Yoink, yoink.
If you're feeling really tired, grab and just trail him along behind you.
No. I've still got the interrogator.
The interrogator is trying very, very hard to make himself like a hole in the wall because the silly bastard was too afraid even to reach for his code cylinder. Or his comm link, excuse me.
Doors.
looks is he dropping in combat? You take the crit.
It's the scene. It's not the combat. It's the scene.
It's the scene?
Yeah.
Okay. So with
You're finding talking very difficult, though. One of the things you know about a Warhaze patch is that it makes your thinking kind of cloudy, so try not to be too complicated with your stuff.
no, it's just gonna be like grab him by the scruff of the neck, point him towards the door, move him across to his cell, open it.
He fumbles with his code cylinder, and shung!
So
Well,
sort of slumped on the bed. There's, who the fuck are Chewbacca? You brought friends. What's up?
my dude.
Stumbles off the bed thing that the slab that they give you. Says, "Are you here to interrogate me? Because one of your friends was already here. I've already had my interrogation. I will have you know."
Contemplate giving him the blaster. Think twice about it. and into the back of the interrogator. Now the rest.
I don't have the code cylinder to release the rest of them.
He's lying to you, man. Don't listen to him.
It's a different detection block.
Laugh. Into his shoulder.
I swear, I do not have the clearance to go from block to block. I can't. I couldn't even if I wanted to.
Can't metagame this, I know, but because I know he's gone from block to block. Then take me to who you can release.
You'll never make it. You should just give up now.
Start lowering the pistol towards his elbow.
All right. Just travel down the hallway.
Salem starts stumbling down into the hallway, looks in the room and goes, "Who made a mess? Chewbacca, is this you?" Sorry. Sort of wanders over.
Apparently, Imperial naval. Excuse me, I'm having trouble with the talking today. Apparently, Republic naval security officer training, intelligence officer training, involves an awful lot of you acting like you're drunk. I blew that one by taking too long. Okay, so we're moving right along. So you're basically lifting, half pushing the guy along.
Yep.
Of course, eventually, some naval troopers at the end of the hallway, standing at those desks, notice what's going on. Don't shoot! Put your weapons down. Put them on the deck. Put them on the deck.
Salem grabs one of the blaster pistols out of the holster of one of the down guys in the other cell.
Salem.
And grabs a comm link and a data cylinder.
Salem.
Yeah.
Take their guns, put them in the cell, close the cell.
Drop the gun, kick it over to me.
They do. You'll never get away with this, scum.
I think they split us up pretty far, if I remember correctly.
A quick dance of your fingers. Well, you would think a quick dance of your. Oh, look, your fingers are finging. quick dance of your fingers.
I just want him back towards the back of the cells. He's right now. He's just making too much noise. Anyway, so to the interrogator, next cell.
It's very similar to yours. At the far end of each of the straight corridors that is directly adjacent to the central booking area, on either side of the corridor in the cell, you will find one of your companions. The simple north, south, east, west configuration.
Take me to the chiss and the young man.
That would be, from our perspective, the east.
And we go east.
So you open up a cell, Salem, and you find those little blue elephant people.
Yeah.
Like there's one of those sort of looking up with his big old brown eyes all watery and stuff. He's got some really bad wounds on him too. Like, he really looks like they worked him over. At least you think it's a him.
I look at him and go, "Can you move?"
I can move out of here.
Can you use a blaster?
Yes, I can. And to prove it, he shoots one of the troopers.
He has his list too.
That wasn't necessary. We may need them.
How many do we need?
Well, as many as we need for, say, human shields. And I don't know how many prisoners we can release.
We could release a whole bunch of prisoners and just.
I'm gonna go to one of the central consoles and just start looking at stuff and seeing if there's any master release or.
Do you know what the Imperial engineers have gone and done? They've put a big red slap button marked release.
Click.
So, well, this looks important.
Every console has one, so apparently every run in the detention block has its own master release. So after slapping 5 buttons, you're pretty sure a whole bunch of people have found open doors they didn't expect would be there.
Does that include the rest of us?
No, because this goes pod by pod. As I showed you, there was a north, south, east, and west pod, and each one has their own set of consoles. And the north, south, east, west pod all connects to a central area, which is essentially a ring. And then off that ring between the pods are turbo lifts. And in the middle is a big shaft leading Lord only knows where.
I quickly hoard 2 pistols for Willa and a pistol for Talon for anybody figures out what's going on. And start yelling, "Get out of the cells!"
A Rhodian sticks his head out and goes, "Dubu, dubu."
You heard me.
Dadu.
He also sees a Wookiee holding an Imperial officer at gunpoint, so it's like, go time.
Great. So these guys are hilarious. They run for the turbo lifts and try to cram into the turbo lifts.
Yeah, good luck.
One poor Ithorian runs so far, he runs right into the railing and falls over the railing. Sorry, I've got some hiccups. Runs right into the railing and falls over the railing, the silly bugger.
Oh man.
But yeah, so you've made a mess, and now there are troopers being sent from other pods. So now there's a shootout. Now there's blaster bolts going all over the place.
Do those of us still in the cells get to hear any of this?
The cells are pretty well insulated from the outside. And so eventually,
well, okay, are all the pods open is the question.
No, your pod is the only pod that's opened its doors. But there is the east, west, and south pod that, apart from having sent 1 or 2 troopers from their pods to investigate what's going on, is still pretty much virgin territory.
Okay, so the very far end ones are not open, is what you're saying.
Okay, I'll go back to the picture.
Mm-hmm. That's open. All the other three, nothing. None of us are out of there.
I'll go back to the picture.
Main
It's
circle,
okay.
back to the main
Oh,
circle
okay,
area
okay.
and get to the other.
Yeah, just like there's your central ring, and then north you go into a essentially I guess like a booking center,
Okay.
and then from there you go into that pod. So you're in that booking center. You've released that section.
Yes.
There's 3 other sections.
You guys are currently here.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
okay. I see what you mean. I see.
Everything here has been opened. Prisoners have rushed past you. Okay.
Mhm.
Gone here, and gone here, and one of them's gone there. So that's the situation now. In here, and here, and down there, hasn't been touched yet, except that they've sent a couple of troopers who are currently here, and a couple of them are here, and a couple of them are here, to see what's going on.
Okay. Well, I'm still holding the Imperial officer as a shield.
Indeed.
I suggest we use this distraction as quickly as possible.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm heading towards the east block,
But
where I said the chiss and the young man were.
my head is still really muddled after this.
That's fine. Just arm the prisoners.
East.
Jesse,
Yes.
just so that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just so that you, sorry, I'm fighting these freaking hiccups. Give yourself an intelligence test.
Just a basic intelligence test?
Yeah, just give yourself basic intelligence.
Nothing else?
Yeah.
1 success. No, sorry, 1 advantage.
There's something you're thinking about something when it comes to getting out of here, but you're sort of working, your brain is still a bit muddled.
Right.
If you can get to a med kit, you might be able to counteract the effects of this OV600.
I start looking for a supply locker of some kind.
Jesse, you keep doing this the hard way. Might I point you to who is suspended from Dubaka's arm?
That's true. Where are your medical supplies?
There's one under the central console. There, he points.
Pulls it out, finds the adrenaline or some kind, whatever equivalent.
Well, strangely enough, the Imperial Security Bureau doesn't expect the naval troopers that are working in the detention block to come into contact with the interrogation drugs. So there's no direct antidote, but you've learned a couple of tricks, and so you're able to jury-rig a cocktail that should help until you can get to the doctor and have her flush you out completely.
I figure there's some kind of adrenaline to prevent or equivalent.
I'm telling you that you have a workaround until a more permanent thing comes.
Yeah.
So you give yourself a jolt of that, and except for the fact that it makes the right side of your freaking face sag for a minute, you're doing pretty good.
I'm having a stroke. I'm okay.
Out!
Anyway, he's got a blaster for himself and 3 in his belt, and he starts handing out the rest to whoever wants one.
Now, I gotta double check something.
His pants are sagging a bit. Too much.
Now, I know it's taboo to use Wookiee, for Wookiees to use their claws against other Wookiees. What about Imperials?
It is taboo for you to use your claws as combat weapons.
That's very intimidation.
It's very low, but then again, you're under the influence, so.
No, never after you took the drug.
Hey?
Yes.
No, the war haze. The war haze.
Yeah.
Essentially, the use of your claws in combat is considered would be considered to be mad to pull them out for combat purposes.
That's okay. Anyways, we're heading towards Talon and Willa.
Right.
Still got the Imperial officer in front of me.
I'm going to make a leadership check to galvanize some of the prisoners around me.
Okay. Go ahead and do that.
Hey, look. Body shields. Cannon fodder.
A success and 3 advantages.
Oh, cool.
To me! I'm the one who released you. Come, help me get more comrades so we can get out of this place.
Now I want you to make a skullduggery check against 2 purple for difficulty.
Two purple. Do I have any skullduggery advantages? I think I do. Remove 1 setback die. Remove 1 setback die. Yeah, no. Nothing really comes into play. So I'm just going to roll. 3 successes, 1 disadvantage.
You're never going to get out of the turbo lifts. There's no way. The minute you get in them and they find out there's people in there that are not supposed to be, they'll lock them down. They'll move them to a secure area. They'll either flood them with gas or they'll just open them up and pour blaster fire in. You are not going to get out of here using those turbo lifts. But for some strange reason, they've put maintenance chutes all over the detention block areas.
Can I move from one
Make it-
detention
make a
block to
sense
another
of
with the
shadow.
maintenance chutes?
No, as far as you know, they're all connected to a central maintenance area.
Okay.
At least you think they are. Yeah, you're pretty sure they are.
All right.
Either that or they're collected. They're connected to the garbage room. One or the other. Either way, you get out of the detention area. But if you just jump into the turbo lifts, now mind you, if you were feeling particularly less than scrupulous, you could get all the prisoners to run in the turbo lifts.
You get like a couple of the really fierce ones, the ones who really have, and just say, yeah, what you're going to do is you're going to run into those other pods and you're going to slap the big red button. Don't do anything else, just slap the big red button, release everybody.
Yeah, that would be so.
That's like,
Wee Swaja. If the Empire uses the old method of detention security used by Republic military installations, they will have a gas system that can flood the area, and you're pretty sure that the gas they release isn't going to be happy fun gas. Now they won't release the ruse or anything, but you know, it will be happy fun gas, not be happy fun gas. So whatever you're going to do, you're on the clock. Do it fast.
Well, that's what I said. We're still moving towards the east block.
I think we're going. I think.
If you're going to convince some of these fucking reprobates to go slap the big red button, now is the time.
Yeah, I'm going to say to them, the objective is yes, to suppress and disarm the guards, but most of all, get more prisoners out. So the big red buttons.
Right. The more there are of you, the less likely they are to catch any one of you.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. Well, your first leadership check was to get them to listen to you.
Yes.
Your next leadership check is to get them to do as you say. And since this is pretty important, you might want to flip one of the...
Yeah. I'm going to upgrade my green to a yellow. Leadership bonuses.
I wish I could isolate that track. Oh, by the way, as a very brief aside, have you guys seen the latest trailer for Galactic Battlegrounds 3? The
Yeah.
one with the Hoth attack?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
One success, 3 advantages.
All right. Well, at first you're concerned that people are just going to do whatever they want, but then a couple of big burly dudes including a Wookiee, who runs up to you first, puts his hands on your shoulders and gives you a comradely shake and a good roar of happiness. Runs off into another block, and of course there's blaster fire. This is a glorious madness. By now the klaxons are hooting and like doot, doot, doot. The klaxon. There's MSE droids rolling everywhere. One MSE droid drives itself off into the shaft. You know, there's glorious madness going on. And then so now Vanny, the door opens up, and you're across from who again? You're across from Tobin, right?
Right. Both our doors are open?
Yeah.
Yes, you can see each other.
I go up to the look outside to see what's going on.
It's fucking bedlam. It's chaos. There's a Wookiee and a Trandoshan working together to tear a naval trooper apart. It's the end times, Dan. It's the end times.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
I think this is the time where we leave.
Out, boys, out we go. So you guys now you guys eventually sort of run into the central area that's got the shaft and the turbo lifts, and you get relatively close together. The only Willa comes running over. Some of her wounds have already started to open up again, and she has to stop and like vomit like projectile puke into the shaft. That she does not look good.
I run back.
She runs up and she collapses in your arms, Salem, and she says, "There's something wrong with the doctor. There's something wrong."
I sort of stroke her head a little bit and like carry her over to the medical supplies and give her a shot of adrenaline and a
Stop giving her adrenaline. What's wrong with you?
Just a stim pack. Just start with
pack. Just give her a stim pack, for God's sake. Here, have some crystal meth. That'll cure everything that's wrong with you.
I want her sharp. I need her to shoot things.
That's right. She takes the 2 pistols that you've taken for her, and she says, "Thank you." And then she stands up, takes a deep breath, and despite the fact that her pistols are shaking, she does that thing like you have to do in Hitman where you have to sort of ride the shake until the reticle goes on the target.
Right.
And she drops 2 naval troopers. She makes an incredible shot in both naval troopers.
I scream out my lungs so that everybody hears. The turbo shafts are no good. We've got to find the maintenance area.
One little dude whose race you can't identify goes, "I know where the maintenance area is. Follow me." There's a whole bunch of them follow him.
Over my shoulders, like, "Toby, find our gear."
That might be a little tougher to do.
I jump on one of the computers.
Yeah. Okay. You make a computer check. You go ahead and do that. That's only like a 1P, because it assumes that anybody who uses that terminal has the access. Oh, wait a minute. You have a code cylinder. Yoink. It's definitely only 1P now, and that's just because of all the databases you have to sort through.
To have done anything else. If I don't already know where she is, I'll ask, "Where's Chitano?"
Willa looks over at you, and she points to where she was, and then pukes over the rail again.
Oh, and turn to Vanny. "Here, you might need this." Toss the pistol. And as I do that, I just very gently extend my claws into the neck of the Imperial trooper. And I whisper in his ear, "I don't need a gun to kill you."
Please. I'll do whatever you say. I'll do whatever you say. I'll do whatever you say. Please.
Toby, found anything?
Success, 3 advantages.
Yes. Yeah. Good news and bad news. What do you want first?
Bad news.
They're not on this deck and not in this area.
Good news.
You know exactly where they are and how to get there.
I put together a map going through the maintenance areas to get back to get our stuff.
And I'm going to go see what's up with Jotano.
Is the medical gear portable?
It's a kit. You can bring it with you.
All right, I'm gonna follow Vanny down the hallway with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
what I'm also doing is one, I'm going to grab a pistol somewhere. But second, one of the unconscious naval ones, the one that could potentially, be about my size, taking
yeah. Nice. Great. So you're undressing me. Is there time for that? Come on.
We don't have time for that. Dread.
For that matter, I wouldn't want to be wearing a uniform in case one of the crazed.
I'm not putting it on. I'm stripping it so that later on I can put it on. I'm not wearing it here.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that stupid.
So I go back to the Imperial officers here. Last question. Where are the ships?
They're kept in the main hangar. They're about to be transferred to impound as soon as we drop out of hyperspace.
Good to know. Wanted to look over one of the empty cells, throw them in.
Shun. One of the detainees, a human female, walks up to you, holds her finger up. So she holds up her finger, and she looks at you. You can tell they've done something to her throat, so she can't talk. Looks at you, makes a fist, points at your fist, points to the locking plate.
Okay.
And she makes a fisting noise she makes a fisting like she says, punch the lock plate already. She says she doesn't say it because she can't talk.
Right. So
crunch.
Break the lock plate.
She gives you the universal symbol of thumbs up, and off she goes.
Right then. Next.
Meanwhile, Salem and Vanny are going to go see if you can find Dr. Jotana. And
across from the boss man.
And so as you head down the hallway, the corridor to where she is, you find that there's a couple of inmates who, despite the fact that they've been given their freedom, really only have one thing on their mind, and it's not getting away. So, but just as you're about to show up with pistols raised, you hear a loud curse in a very, very low voice in a language you've never heard before, and then and one guy gets blasted apart by what looks for all the world to be some sort of deep purplish blue electrical discharge.
That's bad.
The other two brutes decide to run away. They run right past you. And then Jotana steps out, and there's something not quite right with her eyes. Her eyes are a glowing, sickly yellow for just a second. And then she blinks her eyes, and she says, I'm not going to say this ever again, but I'm really glad to see you two.
How's Kevin? You seem all right.
I don't know. I haven't seen him. He hasn't left his room.
All right.
So you guys go right across and check him out. Whatever the Imperials did to him, it hit him really hard. She checks his pulse, and she listens to his chest. Give me that medical kit. Let's go.
Hand it over.
This is useless. She gives him an injection, a big injection, straight through his chest cavity, and then she takes both of her hands, sort of clenches them together, and gives his chest one solid thump, just above and to the left of his breastbone, and Kevin sort of flops for a sec. She does it again. She says, "No, no, 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 no." One more time. No. I said no. And then from the tips of her extended fingers, those electrical blasts. And he sits bolt upright with smoke coming from his hair.
I just sort of go from,
holy mama. This is what he says. He says,
It's
When
one
the
way to
lightning came
defibrillate
in-
somebody.
Vanny pressed herself up against the wall and began repeating something that's probably the equivalent of a Hail Mary for the Kyros. Oh, sweet blessed void, and all sorts of other stuff.
I go from Giordano to Kevin. Are we okay now? Can we go?
Yes, come on, let's go.
People opening up the maintenance hatch. Come on.
She looks over at Kevin and says, "Can you walk?" "Oh, you can bet your ass I can walk out of here." That was a neat trick, by the way. How'd you do that? Don't know what you're talking about. And then off. So you guys get to a maintenance. Now here's the problem. Are you guys all jumping down the same maintenance shaft? And if so, how do you know to do that?
I think we have to go back to the guy with the map.
I go back to Toby because I assume Toby knows where we're going.
Toby, you say that they have to jump down the following maintenance hatch.
Exactly.
Yes.
And away we go.
So first you have to rip the maintenance hatch off, which is a brawn check.
The roided rookie.
That's right, brawn and brawn and well, you can have your choice between brawl or athletics. It's up to you.
Doesn't make a difference either way.
Okay. It's two purple.
Wait a minute. Is there any way to actually unlock the maintenance hatches?
Do you think he gives a shit?
Well, because if it was, I would have unlocked them already.
Or I would have got I would have assumed the little guy would have unlocked them as well.
Well, because they're maintenance hatches, and because the Empire thinks that if you're in a cell, you're going to stay in a cell. Thank you very much. They don't have any locks.
But
They're just fastened on with screws and bolts.
We don't have any tools.
Well, we have a tool that does many things for us, like lifting. And
How's the roll going there?
One triumph and one disadvantage.
Oh my heavens! You cut yourself one off your wound threshold, but the thing goes flying across and into the other room. And now you may jump into the tunnel hatch.
I have the map. I click it first.
There we go. So on your way down, Craig, would you flip a dark side to light, please? On your way down, you hear a chunk shunk, and you get the distinct impression that much like on a railway, a brakeman would switch a track from one to another, that you guys have been switched off of tracks. So whereas the chute would act like a hose, allowing you to transfer normally from point A to point B, it's now moved while you were in transit and is sending you from point A to point C.
You're first. You're the one with the map. Do you have any?
Well, if it's a chute, we don't really have much option until the chute stops.
Yes, well, the stopping involves a splash. And oh boy, does it ever stink. The good news is, though, the Dianoga that's often found infesting garbages in many Imperial installations. Well, the bad news is there was one. The good news is that when Chewbacca landed on it, he crushed its head involuntarily.
Chewbacca. Yes. Squished.
Oh, and the eyeball popped. Ooh, eyeball guts between your toes. Yuck! Oh, you'll be all day cleaning that off there. You're gonna need like a king-size Doug class pedicure. And I don't mean Doug Thu. I mean Doug the alien.
It's times like these, I'm so glad we all get our own our own showers.
Try to get the door open though.
That's right. It'll take both Do, Ray, and me to clean the shower up after Chewbacca's finished with it. You want to talk about 3 complaining R2 units? Oh my heavens! And Jen will sit off laughing and polishing herself.
Can we set one of the comlinks to try and get a hold of Do, Ray, me, and Jem?
Well, Do Re Mi is all the way over on the Dowager, and you guys sent the Ruby Queen essentially way a ways. Like, if I remember correctly, it was either like a moon or a...
Yeah, it was a moon.
Yeah, I'm not going to call for that until we're actually off of this ship.
It wouldn't extend that far anyway. However, I do believe that Jem insisted on coming with you on the Diamond Jack, didn't it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure, and that's why I'm saying we could get Jem to lock it down.
It depends on whether if they've confiscated the Diamond Jack,
they would have confiscated.
The droid.
Maybe,
unless Jem has found a way to hide them.
It's worth a try.
We could
either.
Technically, a smuggler's ship, it could have hidden spaces we don't know about.
Yeah, you never know.
Oh,
or Jem could simply have gone inactive, played possum. That happens. The R2 units will do that sometimes if they think that somebody might be interested in them, they'll deactivate. It's amazing how many people just run past a deactivated piece of technology thinking it's of no use.
Well, I to Vanny, call Jem. Lock down the Diamond Jack.
Jem, you there?
Yes. Where are you?
Garbage area of this interrogation block.
Central. She tells you to wait a minute, and then she says you're in your central waste processing area, not far from the main power plant of the Star Destroyer.
We need out.
There are people knocking on the door.
Hide.
Get us.
What should I do, Vanny? There are people knocking on the door.
Hide if you can. Otherwise, deactivate and play
dead.
Play dead.
Do I have to fall over for that? Because that will make my outer shell dirty. And you know how I hate to make my outer shell dirty.
No, your version of playing dead is just shut everything down so they think you haven't got any power.
Perhaps I will lean at an angle. Then perhaps that will convince them. Do try to come back as quickly as possible. I'm overdue for one of my polishings.
Perhaps get the damn door open.
Before that happens, do you have time to get our door open?
She'd have to access one.
Just a moment.
Diamond Jack could potentially access it remotely. Who knows?
After a second, the primary hatch pops open, and you come face to face with a very, very surprised technician.
I walk very slowly up to him.
He holds his hands up and drops like third period French. Now, what are you going to do with him?
In a friggin' corner. I don't care at this point. You know, to quote C-3PO, it's like, the whole station has been alerted to your presence. There's no way in or out. It don't matter no more. We've dropped enough naval troopers and manhandled an Imperial officer, and pretty sure they know we're gone.
Speaking of which, once we get out, I take the bag that I was holding, strip down, and put on the uniform of the Imperial, of the trooper that I had taken.
Salem, that's not a bad idea.
Means I need to find one.
So you look around.
Hey, technician.
And he comes with some strange vacuumy thing and everything.
And his clothes don't smell.
That's right.
Bonus.
Yeah, my clothes go back.
Back into the garbage chute.
Sort of adjust my technician cap. So how do I look?
Yeah,
Don't
you're
forget-
a great player.
Don't forget the vacuumy thing.
I represent that mark.
So now two of you look like you belong, sort of. And now the
He should have binders clipped to his belt, right?
yep.
So we're gonna have to pull the if we're gonna pull this off, we're gonna have to pull the on me.
First thing I do
So,
is check the map and try to figure out where the heck we are.
eventually, you use the terminal to locate a supply closet, and now you're all dressed up. Well, those of you who can. Now you're all dressed up like Imperial technicians,
Well, it's better than nothing.
except for you. You are dressed up like a Wookiee.
In binders. Click. There you go.
That's right.
Loosened binders.
Yeah, no.
What's the difference between
Actually, clicked.
You put them on.
What's the difference between a set of tires meant to be used in the snow and a Wookiee? Well, the tires don't complain and roar and kill people when you put chains on them.
Or they're not doing it silently on some other channel? Waiting for the right set of circumstances?
So what we need is to take the supply crate with all of our gear.
You've got to find the supply crate with all of your gear, and unfortunately, it's not close to the Diamond Jack. Think of a triangle where you are at the bottom at one point. You need to go up. At the end of that one trajectory is the Diamond Jack. At the end of a trajectory that's about 45 degrees to the left as the crow flies from where you're standing and upwards is where your stuff is. You have to go through security impound. You have to go and get your stuff from security impound. The good news is you took the security guy's code cylinder. The bad news is none of you people look like a security guy.
Not true. We have one guy, Tobin, who's got a security uniform.
No, he has a naval trooper's uniform. Different breed of fish.
We can always
Now,
may
if the stuff that's being impounded is held in a mechanical sorting and retrieving area, which is not necessarily unlikely, you may be able to get to it just by using the code cylinder. If there's a droid there that's manning the area, you may be able to bully the droid. If it's a human, not so sure.
We'll work on whether or not we bully them, smack them over the head, or do something else crazy to them.
I ain't giving up my axe.
Well, there might be artifacts we have to retrieve too.
Yeah, the mask being one of them.
So I essentially look at the map and I figure out the route that we need to go in order to be able to get to our stuff.
It involves an awful lot of turbo lift traveling. And so you step into the... Now, you guys are bright enough to realize that all the code cylinders that you've used to get this far, you probably shouldn't use them to travel. You should probably use a technician's code cylinder to travel.
Yep.
And so the code cylinder clicks happily into the turbo lift and off you go. And it involves an awful lot of get out of the turbo lift, walk nonchalantly from point A to point B, get into another turbo lift, hope you don't have to strike up a conversation with any other troopers or officers. Luckily, this doesn't happen.
Fortunately, there's a jail riot going on right now that's distracting everybody.
That's right.
Wait, seriously. How'd that happen?
At one point, you all pile into a turbo lift, and there's an officer there in gray who looks over at you, Bevan. Where are you? Why are you bringing this thing?
Try to look down as dejected as possible, even though the drugs are just coursing through my body.
So I have a question for you then, Gus.
Yes.
What is the officer's will score?
That would be a 2.
Any training and discipline?
Well, he's an officer, so I'd say he'd at least have 1.
So, unfortunately, I didn't actually get any force points, although the roll was pretty awesome. So, unfortunately, sir, I'm not at liberty to disclose that.
Very well. Try to get it under control before it contaminates the air, yeah? He steps off rather quickly a couple of floors after that, and you're left by yourself. Parn sort of shakes her head back and forth and goes, "Try not to contaminate everything in here."
But I think we are going to be contaminating as much as we can get our hands on.
I only wish I still had my stinky clothes.
Yeah, we're technicians from the garbage bay. Yeah, it gets pretty funky down there. Sorry about that, Lieutenant. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Just let it all out, sir. Better out than in. Better out than in. No shame here, sir. We're all serve the new order here. Wow, what did you eat that was green, sir?
Oy, oy, oy.
All right, so you get out of that turbo lift and then have to cross an entire... You have to zigzag across this effing Star Destroyer more often than Carter's got liver pills, although it's probably a good idea that they don't have like long, continuous lines of turbo lift running from one end of the ship to the other, because that's probably a bad idea.
Do they make
You have to-
cargo ships this purposefully obtuse on purpose, or?
Well,
Somebody
the Republic
can't
Venator classes
find
were...
anyone going around shooting important people.
The Republic Venator classes were a lot more, were in many ways a lot more Byzantine than these ships were. Many of those ships were made sort of by trial and error and subcontractors that went to the lowest bidder and stuff. Like, a lot of that stuff wasn't as good as it could have been. One of the things about the Imperial stuff is that it's built to a purpose. That purpose is well known, properly understood, and heavily adhered to. And their standardization is actually something the Republic could have learned from. Don't scratch.
Not
I saw you scratching. Don't scratch.
adjusting myself.
All right. So yes, you guys now have to traipse all the way across one side of the ship, and then all the way across another. And then eventually you get to the contraband impound area. And the contraband impound area is manned by an officer in a gray uniform who looks like he's a captain, which is very strange. It's also very strange he looks like he's about 100 years old.
I turned to Toby. You're the one with the actual uniform.
What do you want, trooper? This isn't prisoner debarkation here.
No, I know that. However, we need to look through some of the inventory for items that have been disclosed to us through interrogation.
Just a minute, trooper. I don't see any authorization here. Nothing's been transmitted to me.
No, that's because there's a prison riot going on right now.
If there's a prison riot here, why are you standing with a prisoner loose while you're trying to thumb through contraband?
Captain, it obviously happened after I stepped out.
This is very... One moment. I have absolutely no record whatsoever of either this prisoner, anybody resembling this prisoner, and this contraband. Some of it belongs to this prisoner, so that part of your story checks out. But the rest of it is highly irregular. Not the least of which, he lifts up the data pad, turns it around, and you're looking at your own face, Bevan.
Yeah. So essentially, I shoot him.
Yes. I performed the highly complicated maneuver of blowing his head off. Okay then. Let's have a little initiative fun, shall we? Nah, he's old. He's not that good. But he does have some skill, though. Not that much skill. Oh, my heavens. What is your initiative?
Oh, no.
Oh, you roll what I roll.
Now, I'm making the assumption here, and I'm sorry if I gave the wrong impression, but that this was a combat for this single round limited only between Bevan and this guy.
Okay.
1 success, 2 advantages.
Yeah, not so much. He's got 3 successes, 3 advantages. So he goes first.
Okay. So he goes.
He goes first. He's reaching for his pistol.
Okay, and I shoot him.
Getting a pistol ready is an action, right?
Well, essentially, I would assume it's a surprise round because he looks at me and I draw my weapon.
Right.
I mean, that's what initiates the combat.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll likely have a surprise round where he can do fuck all.
Well, take the shot. His soak is 2. Take the shot. He's not wearing any armor. And you're right there, so it's point blank.
No, I got 3 advantages.
Holy shit, are you kidding? Oh my god. Have a boost die. I mean, this is crazy. You're right there in front of his face. You got the drop on him. Have a boost die.
1 success, 1 advantage.
There we go. You get 1 success. So what's the total damage?
I have no idea. What does the
Base
pistol do?
blasters.
It's a blaster pistol. It's a standard blaster pistol, so anybody who has one can use the same damage and crit.
Does anybody have one listed on their sheet?
I have a heavy.
I have a light.
No.
Really? One of you has a heavy, one of you has a light? Oh, you're kidding me. Well, we'll jeez. This is funny.
I think it's 5.
Give me a second.
I'm pretty sure it's 5 because this is -7.
Yeah, it's 6. It's 6 with a 3 crit.
Okay.
So that's 7 minus 2 for his soak, so that's 5. So you put a big hole in his upper chest, and he sort of falls over, slumps down against the against one of the shelving units behind him.
I look around the corner. Well, that's one way of doing it.
Are you going to finish him off, or just leave him there, or what?
I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to essentially take his weapon away from wherever it is.
Well, that's not hard to do, considering he managed to get it out of the holster, but you shot him, and then he dropped it on the floor right where he was, and he's not where he is anymore.
So I'm essentially going to turn him over and bind him. Like, just tie him up. No, you need to keep those while we're going back. Essentially, make sure that he doesn't move. I have to use his code, whatnot. And
You're pretty sure you shot him through the spine. He's not going anywhere.
And then call the others in. We'll drag him off into a corner so that nobody can see him.
Willa looks at him and then looks at you, looks at him again. Nice shot. Oh, wait. It took a minute, Salem. It takes a minute for you to figure out why the Empire would have somebody with such a relatively senior rank and so old working at a job like this. The guy's a clone. He's one of the must have been one of the first batches too. So you
the computer, figure out which boxes are ours.
Easily done, since I'm sure one of you remembered the number.
Get a essentially we'll need to get a mover, put all the stuff on.
Aha. You could get a droid. There's a lifty droid.
Go over and commandeer it, as I'm a technician in uniform. So yeah,
Yes.
go over, commandeer it.
What
Goes
do you
over here
require
and
me
direct
to
it to pick up our boxes.
I'll just check see if there's anything else interesting in here.
True. Once I've got that done, I'll join you in.
Let the fates decide. One of you roll a D100. If the roll comes up from a 1 to a 9, there's something interesting in here. Otherwise, it's just all sorts of regular shit.
100. I got a 30. Or no, 3. Sorry.
There's a big difference.
No, it's a 3.
Double O.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bonded messenger cylinder. And the bond it's a what's known as a 3 gold bonded messenger cylinder, and 3 gold is the highest bonded messenger cylinder rating there is. This is the kind of stuff that royal proposals are sent in, the kind of stuff that diplomatic whatevers are sent in. This is the kind of stuff that secret plans are sent in, the kind of stuff that industrial secrets are sent in. Data crystals containing fortunes, title deed and ownerships of like giant spaceships, space stations, moons, planets.
I will go and obtain this cylinder and put it in my pocket.
Yes, you will.
Look at that later.
Well, you know what you just did? You just saved dozens of Bothans' lives.
No, that's the second one. That's the second one. Many Bothans had nothing to do with the first Death Star, which hasn't even been built yet. You enough of that metagaming, you, or into the metagaming box you go, complete with the fish milk.
Just as Bothans didn't die, finding the plans for the first one.
I know. What's more fun this way? So,
They're hilarious.
now that you guys have your stuff, and now that you guys have a droid to carry your stuff,
now the question is getting the stuff in the Diamond Jack.
so now you guys escorting a Wookiee prisoner with 3 technicians. What?
Is there a box that's big enough to fit a Wookiee?
Yes.
Get in the damn box.
Now you're going to have to dismiss the lifty droid. This is a job for a pallet, a moving hover pallet.
It's fine. That's what I was expecting in the first place. But
Yeah, I'll go find one of those. Actually, I'll ask the droid first where the nearest one is.
I will obtain a hover pallet for you immediately.
and then
Please.
the box opens up. Give you your axe.
Yeah.
Oh, is the harness still with it? Is still in the thing?
No, actually, it's been separated. The harness isn't here, and the mask isn't here.
Is there any idea? Is there any location on where it is?
You haven't seen it in the computer, but you know for sure that it's not here.
And while all this is...
Okay. While they're getting the power.
Craig, would you flip a dark side to light, please?
Yeah.
There we go. You were saying?
Yeah, I was going to make another call to Gem.
Just these things. These things can be traced, eh? Just so you know, just in case. I mean, go ahead and do it, but
That is noted. Going to keep this real short.
yes. Is it time for my polishing yet?
No, just checking in to make sure you're still okay.
There was knocking, and they entered, and then they put some sort of thingamy on the dashboard. I'm not quite sure what it is, but they left me alone.
Describe object on dashboard.
I can do better than that. Just a minute. Drives over, and then you there's a utility imager. It's like half the size of a saucer, and you hold it up and you take a look, and there's one of those shaky 3D images that are displayed all wavery and stuff. Great. It's the rough equivalent of the Denver boot, but it's for they stick it over control consoles. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. They've basically locked it down, so I can't just...
Yeah, physically. They physically put a locking plate on top of the instrument panel.
Gem, can you take that off the panel?
I will try very hard, but if something happens, I could end up breaking the panel. Also, I think there may be a tampering sensor on it. Maybe I should wait until you get here to try, and then that way, as soon as it is off, we can fly away.
Sure. So sit and wait. We'll be there when we get there.
But I will sit very close to it so that we can get started as quick as possible.
Uh-huh. Great. They fucking locked the ship down.
So I want to try to use the console to access the computer network to find out where they put the artifact.
Well, you're going to have to go through the central computer, and you don't really have the code for that. So,
That's
it's
why
going to be... What's that?
That's why I want to hack it.
That's right. So I'll say 1 red, 2 purple. And you should be good to go.
2 successes, one of which is a triumph, and 2 advantages.
Oh, there we go.
It loves you.
It's been placed in someone named Lord Vader's personal storage.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck. Where is that located? Is that in his personal quarters?
No, actually, it's located on his shuttle. No, wait. The word shuttle has actually been instantaneously replaced while you're looking at it with the word personal craft.
No.
And then it open bracket X1 close bracket.
All right. So close that down. We're not getting the artifact back. They're on Mr. Lord Vader's personal shuttle. X1, whatever the hell that means.
Is it still on the Star Destroyer?
I was looking at it, it said personal storage. And then as I was looking at it, it said personal shuttle. And then I was looking at it, it said X1.
Oh,
Likely he's leaving.
I see.
Like we should be doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you only get the axe, you don't get the harness.
For now.
I don't know, man. You lost Tarful's harness? Ooh, I don't know. But hey, most Wookiees never knew you had the thing in the first place.
I'm in the box. I didn't hear any of that anyways.
Sorry, I'm in the box, and then nothing. I'm in the box.
All right.
All right,
Let's get the hell out of here.
We head out.
All right, now you have to go. You have to complete the triangle, as it were. And everything is more or less fine until you get into a shuttle with what appears to be the commanding officer of the ship. He looks over at you, Bevan. What are you doing?
I was requested by Lord Vader to transport these artifacts directly into his shuttle.
It's not a shuttle, first of all.
Craft.
I shouldn't be telling you this, Trooper, but between you and me, it's probably the hottest ride I've ever seen. You didn't come from the TIE Corps, did you? You're just a ground pounder.
That's correct, sir.
Benny is now paying very close attention to what he's saying.
Well, I got to tell you, I've flown TIE fighters. That's how I got started. Well, actually, I flew V-Wings during the last days of the Clone Wars, but eventually I transferred over to command. But I've flown some TIE fighters, and they're quick, they're nimble. But this machine he's building, this machine he's had built, it's really quite something. It's as black as he is, twice as lethal. So, no, Trooper, it's not a shuttle. It's a fighter, and if he's storing anything on it, frankly, I don't know how he's going to fit all that stuff on there, but I don't ask questions. If Lord Vader commands, I obey.
No, as well, sir, he scares the bejesus out of me.
Don't say that too loudly around him, son.
Not around him.
He steps off at a habitat level. He looks over and says, "Carry out your orders, and smartly now."
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Close the door.
What's that guy's name?
Hmm?
Willis says, what was that guy's name?
Don't know. Didn't ask.
Marrow sort of scratches his head and says, I don't know. I think I read Aussie or something on his name tag. So, eventually you emerge at a hangar. That's the good news. There's other good news. You want to hear that?
Yes, please.
Well, over there in the corner of the hangar is the Diamond Jack. All nice and neat. Just the way you left it, more or less. Now, who wants the bad news? 2 stormtroopers. One of them is a sergeant by the red of his pauldron. These guys don't look like regular stormtroopers. They look like they can shoot.
Only 2?
Yep, just the 2 of them. So, plans?
Where are they located in the hangar?
They're standing on either side of the door. The Diamond Jack is basically tucked right up against one of the bulkheads, so the port side door isn't accessible, and the stormtroopers are standing one on either side of the door that is. Does anybody need to be reminded what the Diamond Jack looks like? With a big smile on Angela's face. Yes, I certainly do, says she.
Sure, she has a picture.
I remember what it looks vaguely what it looks like.
Oh, sure. Always with the vaguely.
Here's the floor plan. And here's the floor plan.
I'm sure I have full plan in there.
I never printed a picture, so if you're the one who did, then that's one thing, but...
I'm pretty sure that yes. Diamond Jack floor plan. Such as it is.
That's the floor. That's the inside of the Diamond Jack.
Yep, that's floor plan. Outside?
This is the outside.
Picture.
That's what it looks like on the outside. This gun has been replaced. It's actually a quad cannon set, and there are guns here. But otherwise, it's basically the same. Alrighty.
All right. So as we come up to the doors, essentially I just give a nod to the troopers and tell my technicians, okay, we're just gonna pile this stuff up by the wall.
Scanning equipment.
Go ahead. So now what?
So we start piling it up by the wall, close to where the Diamond Jack is. See if the troopers see how much of an eye they're keeping on us.
They're not really. So now what?
Anybody else in the hangar with us?
Various technicians. There's a couple of TIE fighter pilots that are chatting on top of. Now, the way the TIE fighters are set up is that they're basically hung from the ceiling, almost like bats. And hang on a sec. Let me see if I can find you a better picture here.
Like clamps that clamp off between the two.
A rod and then like a U-clamp, and they attach.
You've played The Force Unleashed. You've seen it.
I've watched
Took me too long to.
I've watched The Imp series. I've seen it. I've watched the movies.
It's always fun in the Force Unleashed. It's if you pull them down, you throw them at people. It's like Dark Forces.
Okay.
Yeah. Or not Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight. Jedi Knight 2.
Now, can you see this?
Barely.
That's
Better?
Mm-hmm.
So you see what I'm talking about here? Now, the Diamond Jack would be like take out these two sets of doors here. See these blast doors and this other access door here,
Mm-hmm.
and put the Diamond Jack here. There's the pit that's here is actually pushed back towards the back of the hangar. But other than that, it all looks very similar. And up top, basically 3 rows back, two fighters in from the Diamond Jack. There's 2 TIE fighter pilots shooting the shit.
We've got to get out of here without them realizing we're gone, or else we're probably
You okay?
knocked down by some kind of tractor beam. We're not careful.
I'm going to get some water.
So, essentially, move to stack the pallets in a place that will be obscured by the Diamond Jack, and essentially just start loading it in.
I start helping you.
Well, I'm essentially just sort of describing what we're going to do.
Well, you're the
I'm the security guard.
You got to stand there and look important while we do everything.
Yeah.
And
Now, Angela,
Yeah.
because you're a wild and crazy girl, a wild and crazy thought occurs to you. TIE fighters, you guys, they're not just going to let you go. Once you leave, they're going to chase you. TIE fighters are really fast. They're not very tough, but they're very fast. And it might do if there was a bit of either a misdirection or a mid-air distraction. I mean, frankly, the Diamond Jack will basically fly itself, more or less. But if a skilled person was flying a TIE fighter and making trouble and confusing the other TIE fighters, the Diamond Jack might have a better chance than if it was simply chased down and pounced. It's just a thought.
I'm going to have to do something about the TIE fighter.
Now, here's what you know about TIE fighters. Their cockpits aren't pressurized. If you choose not to take a breathing apparatus with you, you'll have as much air as you started with, and it's not gonna be an awful lot. There's no heat in the cockpit, but that's not really a big deal, at least until the first half hour. And frankly, if you're in the TIE fighter for that long, you're in trouble. They have minimized controls, no shields. They're awfully, awfully paper thin. But a really good pilot could make the best of them. Also, you could use your feminine wiles and ask to borrow one of the pilot's helmets. After all, there's 2 of them up there talking.
But we need the pressure suits too.
Heck, you could use your masculine wiles if that's what you wanted to do. I don't know.
I said I sort of look up at them, look back, and say, we have to do something about those guys.
You're going to have to speak up a little, Angela.
We're going to have to do something about those guys and have them chasing us if we get out.
What y'all have in mind?
Do our technician uniforms look the same as the TIE fighter or even just the Bay technician uniforms?
Oh yeah, a technician uniform is a technician uniform.
We're going to have to either disable them or their TIE fighters. Or, I suppose I could steal one, but that gives us a whole lot of other problems on the other end. I'd rather just make it so that they actually don't get to chase us.
We'd have a lot of things to sabotage unless we somehow got to the control room that docks and undocks the TIE fighters.
Well, whatever you're gonna do, girl, do it fast.
Doing anything to the TIE fighters is going to need mechanics, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's also going to need you to get in one anyway.
There's only 2 TIE fighter pilots here?
Yeah, and they're not anywhere near the front row.
I'm going to wander up and be an admiring technician who wants to show him something. I'm going to be a technician who wants to show him something in one of the TIE fighters so that I get one of them alone, and then I'm going to use the pistol I have to go smack, and then do something similar to the other one, so we knock the 2 TIE fighter pilots out. If this goes hideously wrong...
Checks. Yes, and they're talking to each other, so that's going to be a little bit difficult. I think the other one might notice.
Right.
I can't say anything, I'm in the box.
I can't do anything. I can actually get technician.
Do they have name tags on them?
Yes.
Benny, come on. We're gonna walk up to them brazenly, and say, the technicians will have a little pool going, and we wanted to know what kind of. They say that the kind of decals and decorations some pilot puts in their cockpit says something about them. So we had a pool going to say which ones you guys had. Sanders, the biggest pool is around you. They say you're the cock of the walk.
Sanders has got his helmet off, and his face is as twisted in pride as you can imagine. He looks over at you, Vanny, and he says, "Is that true? You want to see what's inside my cockpit?"
God. There was as much subtlety as it.
Any,
Brick shit.
yeah, I'll smile and say,
Fire jock.
just nod. Yes. In fact, she'll let herself blush like hell at this.
Well, come on, both of you. We'll give you a look. We'll start with Jesky over here. Come on, Jesky, let's see what all you don't have in your cockpit. Jesky looks in, and he's got like a little, he's got like one of them little hanging plushie dolls, like the kind you'd hang from a rearview mirror.
Oh, Jesky's the new kid.
Now, not everybody can have as lush and plush a cockpit as me. And he walks over, and he's got like kill stickers and.
I want to distract Jesky and let Vanny separate Sanders towards his cockpit and try and like rid Jesky. Oh, you know, like I see you aren't cleaning your cockpit very well there. Might have to look
Deception.
on that.
Deception test. 2 purple. Go.
Do I have anything I can use? Probably not, because it's all. Yeah, I think these I'll just set back that garbage. Okay. One success, 2 advantages.
It's good enough. He's distracted. Now that he's distracted,
Go ahead.
No,
I
you
was
go.
gonna say, I'm going to start trying to get him deeper and deeper into the cockpit and say, like, look down there, look at that. That's terrible. You've got to clean that up. And then once he's, like, really in the cockpit, I'm going to knock him over the head.
okay. Make a brawl check. Well, It's technically melee, but you're using an improvised weapon, so
Yeah.
unless you just want to point blank stun him with the thing.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I'll switch the setting to stun and just zap him with it.
There we go. Can we double check what stun means, Dan?
It means it inflicts strain instead of wounds. But I'll check specifically.
Okay, go for it. Take
not
the shot.
It's not going to kill him, essentially.
Take the shot. It's 1p.
Stun weapons cause strain to the target when strain quality is activated.
Just one success or one advantage.
Are you joking?
Somehow.
Are you out of your damn mind? It's a point blank. What is it with you guys in point blank shots today?
2 yellows. I have no idea how this works.
Okay, so you flip the button, you touch the firing stud, but there's a misblast.
Right.
There's that weird squeal of a misblast.
Right.
And Jeski sort of turns his head and says, "Did you hear that? Try it again, idiot."
Did you hear that? One success.
Good. Now it's a 6, so that's 7. He's technically a minion. So he hears, "Wow!" And he just goes, "Oh!" And he falls unconscious. And he slides into the TIE fighter cockpit with his feet disappearing after him.
And I sort of stuff him in more into make sure he's completely closed up. And I say, and make sure it's clean by tomorrow, or I'll write you up. And I walk back over towards Vanny.
Right. Meanwhile, I've been heading my own off to his.
And what are you going to show him?
Once we get inside, get right up close, and also hit him with the stun from my pistol. We're not terribly original here. We're trying to be effective.
Right.
Meanwhile, while
as he's leering at your coverall, yeah, take the shot. You were saying, Dan?
Coveralls that don't quite cover all. Sorry.
While that's going on, I'm gonna go up to the device that's strapped onto the cockpit or onto the controls. Essentially,
well, it's one thing to stack boxes not far from the machine. It's another thing to get past the troopers.
It's inside the diamond jack.
Yes, I thought the troopers were standing at the far door.
Yeah, they're standing at the door.
Outside.
They're standing. They're
Or
standing.
off the diamond jack, then. I thought it was the door to the.
Oh.
The door to the.
Door to the diamond jack.
Yeah. The outer hatch.
2 successes.
That is 2 successes, 1 disadvantage.
Yep, he's stunned too.
Zot.
But he's fallen at a strange angle. It'll take him a minute to get him off the flight controls, in case you're curious.
Suddenly, a TIE fighter goes flying out the freaking.
Well, no, it hasn't started or anything, but that's right. We'll start the fighter and then stun him. Boy, oh boy, we're batting 1,000 today.
No, I stunned him, so I'll leave him where he is. Grow out the hedge, put it down, and head back to my folks. We've taken care of TIE fighter pilots.
All right, now we just have to take care of 2 troopers.
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't think they're just going to send 2 TIE fighters after you, do you?
Is there anything I could easily throw in there that would delay the rest of them?
If you were, what's your mechanics like?
Cool. I have 3 greens.
Well, that's enough to tell you that essentially there's nothing you can do standing there. You'd have to find the control area for this hangar, and that's going to take you a little bit far away. Not really, really far away, but it'll at least put a window between you and everybody else.
I wandered back to everyone else long enough to say, I'm going to see if I can mess up the deployment thing for the TIE fighters, which means that I'll have to go off and do that. And
If you go to the control room, chances are pretty good there's 4 or 5 people up at the control room. At least one officer watching over everything, and anywhere from 2 to 3 people manning approach control and communications consoles. It's going to be a lot tougher to do something up there.
yeah.
Is there any way to manually lock down the releases?
You can easily do it for these 2 TIE fighters because you're right there. But in order to do it for any more than those 2 TIE fighters...
Well, I'm assuming there's more than 2 TIE fighters in this.
So I could run around and spend X number of turns locking each one down manually, going up and down those.
But the other problem is that as soon as you lock them down manually, you know, the control tower is alerted.
Right, if I do anything specifically to these TIE fighters, the controllers are going to notice.
I mean, at this point, if all you're looking for is sabotage, you'd be better off just like, you know, you'd be better off putting a shape charge in this one fighter, hitting the detonate point, and seeing how many fighters that you could get.
Yeah, a shape charge.
Or any sort of explosive charge, a bunch of detonators in a sack. I mean, something.
What sort of explosives did we have in our stuff when we got captured?
Smoke grenades, that was it.
The other option is to pause in the Diamond Jack, and tell the gunner, well, swing the Diamond Jack around, use your guns to take out as many of the fighters as you can. That'll give away an awful lot of your lead time.
Is there a way of taking out one of the cranes holding one of the TIE fighters so that it backs up the rest of them?
No, because they essentially drop off.
Yeah, they drop off and fly forward.
Yeah, they're released and their engines kick in and they go.
The other option would be to try to find a way to maneuver the Diamond Jack within the hangar, put a flurry of blaster bolts in through the control center, which would essentially halt all TIE operations on this hangar. But keep in mind, this is a Star Destroyer. This is not the only TIE hangar they've got. The average Star Destroyer carries 72 assorted TIE craft, and your count here is whatever 72 divided by 4 is. 3, actually.
So 24.
Never mind the remainder. Now, of that 72, not all of them are TIE line fighters. They're not all your basic TIEs. Some of them are also TIE bombers, which are not really that dangerous to you because you're a little too small. There's also a few gunboats and various other craft, probably a TIE bomber that's been converted to carry troops as an insertion craft.
Yeah.
But you're guaranteed at least 60 TIE fighters. Now, will they launch them all at you? No. If you take this hangar out, you'll drop maybe 30 of them. But there's still more. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, one of the things that we could do is, as we lift off in the Diamond Jack, just lift up into the rack of TIE fighters. They are flimsy and will likely snap and break like twigs.
That's true, although, well, if you put your shields up, you should be okay. But remember though, those twin ion engines that are powering them are awfully fucking volatile. And some of them could go off like bombs. And normally in the hangar, that wouldn't be that much to worry about, except for the closely packed ties. But if you're essentially breaking them by brushing up against them, that could be some problems. I don't know. It'd be messy, but I'd have to work it out.
I was thinking you were just leaving it in destruction. Are there any other... no, the bay's probably way too big.
Well, before all that, we need to actually get back into the ship. Which means
there's going to be plus and minuses to anything you decide to do. Mm-hmm. So there'll be merits and flaws regardless of what plan that you undertake.
I like sending an ion explosion.
You guys don't have ion cannons.
No, but
I didn't.
Can provide that.
The who?
The engines on the TIE fighters can.
So in other words, you want us to
They
shoot one of...
they wouldn't provide it.
It's not that kind of ion blast.
No, but
It's an explosion.
it's an explosion.
So you intend to shoot one of them while we're leaving and hope that...
Well, I mean, depending on what we could do, we could probably get.
Wait a moment. If we powered one up, would that guarantee its explosion? Or increase its chances?
Wouldn't guarantee its explosion, but
We could always try to
Again,
get
the
into
control tower would
some
know.
of the.
you would probably stop tie operations in the hangar at least for the first 2 racks, because nobody wants to try to fly past a tie that's on the rack that's been turned on.
Are there any TIE bombers in this hangar?
There's one,
So
and it's hanging at the back corner.
It probably doesn't have any ordnance in it at this point. It's
why wouldn't?
because you always load the ordnance that you want before a mission. You don't keep it loaded. It's not a fast response vehicle. Well,
Yeah, he's right. He's right. It's not meant to scramble at a moment's notice.
Then there would have to be ordnance in the hangar.
Yes.
Yes, there is. That would be underneath that pit that I was talking about.
So
Remember that opening pit that I showed you? That wasn't there. It was further back.
And it would shut down the use of the hangar until they got that under control.
Is anybody actively minding the ordnance?
Yes. There is a there are two fleet troopers, 2 naval infantry. They're on duty there at all times. And it's not just a stack of ordnance. There's an actual automated magazine. That what happens is the magazine comes up from the pit, moves on tracks to just underneath and behind the bomber, and then these arms come out and load the bomber. Mind you, automated systems that have magazines that are enclosed make a really spectacular concussive effect when you blow them up. Just like in Armageddon when Buddy explained that the difference between holding a firecracker in your whole open hand and holding it in your closed fist. Whatever you're going to do it fast.
First thing we need to do is get back into the ship. Which means
Well, for that, you've got 2 stormtroopers to worry about.
Boss, what are you gonna do?
What did you say?
Said, Boss, what do you want to do?
This isn't combat. You guys take over. Just get us out of here. Dubaka, do what you do best.
It's slightly cracked open so that you have air and can hopefully not speak because that Wookiee roar would be.
Actually, hang on a sec. Marrow sort of pushes your box over towards the stormtroopers, and they look over and they go, "What's this?" "I got something for you. Check it out." Lifts up the lid. Total surprise.
All right.
Point blank with melee is what? 1p?
Still 2. So
2p?
One success, 2 advantage.
Wow, you guys are rolling awfully today. But still,
That's it.
1 success with your. No, I just gotta check something here. Gotta check the Stormies. They've got a soak of 5. Well, your axe defeats many such things, so.
Okay. Well, yeah, 8 damage total. The pierce of 3,
Right. So that means they have a soak of 2.
and I'm activating 2 crits.
Oh, cool.
Because
Well,
I crit of 1 on this thing.
if that stormtrooper sergeant that you hit isn't actually dead, he really wishes he was, and whatever the case, he's hors de combat, as they say. Now you have the other stormtrooper. Since it's a surprise round and he's the only one surprised, does somebody else want to do something? Yes, no?
Well, my pistol's still set to stun, but I shoot him.
Well, what about you, Bevan? Where are you?
I think doing this doesn't count as an action.
No, it's a free action to change your side.
Oh, okay, well.
So you could actually shoot him.
Well, take the shot then.
Well, I assume.
Short range would be 1.
Well, I'm going to keep the triumph from the success with a setback.
2 successes, yeah, 1 disadvantage.
All right, so that's 8 points of stun, minus 5 from his armor is 3. So he's.
And I'm using my blast. Oh no, I'm using the blaster. Yeah, I don't have my blaster anymore. So yeah, no, it's 3 stun on him.
Yeah.
You could have grabbed your blaster. We do have.
So that's 3 strain. Yeah, he's suffered 3 strain, so he's.
And a crit.
And a crit.
And a crit.
A triumph.
A
You
triumph.
can do whatever you wish.
Right. Check him to see what the crit would normally be. Because I'm curious as to see what the crit would be. If it's a significant crit, then we can take him out of combat. If not, well, somebody else is going to have to pop him one.
Oh, I don't have
I
a
got this. Give me a second here. It's a measly 31.
Oh.
Stunned. Staggered.
Wow.
Turn. You hit him with stun setting and actually stunned him. Staggered means he can't do squat.
So he's sort of
slaps him
the stormtrooper is sort of shaking his head. Huh. Willa walks up, knees him in the groin armor, that sort of lets him roll over her back, and then she stands to one side, and with a wave like Cindy Lou Who, she motions Vanny to the hatch.
I start dragging bodies up the ramp before anybody notices.
Or at least hiding them from anywhere where there might be people seeing.
Go in and inspect what's been done to the console.
I yell, "Assume we've been made."
That's right. Yell that in the open so other people. I think they're on to us.
No, it's up to the diamond jack. God.
I was gonna say, everybody should be geared up at this point.
Because we were still outside of the Diamond Jack, still in front of the stormtroopers.
Yes, but all the boxes had our gear. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. So we can now take the gear, put it in, and then start preparing.
Start gearing up.
So everyone
All
else
right.
is
So
not
just to make sure I know what everybody's doing, Dubaka, is it reasonable to say that you're inside the Diamond Jack putting on your gear?
I don't have any gear to put on anymore.
So that's a yes. Excellent. Salem, is it
Yes.
reasonable to assume you're inside the Diamond Jack putting on your gear?
Yes.
Tobin, is it reasonable to assume you're inside the Diamond Jack putting on your gear?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. Now, Vanny, what has been done? A rough equivalent of the Denver boot has been bolted to the top of your console. It will require a mechanics check to get rid of it. The difficulty for doing so is 2p, because it's not really a high security thing. It's just your standard impound thing. However, since it's Dark Side Arama today, I'm going to flip a Dark Side point and upgrade the difficulty to 1 red and 1 purple.
Remember also to check it for possible tamper-proof.
It's probably part of the rule.
Okay.
Jem has indicated that as far as she can tell, there aren't any anti-tamper devices put on it. She's editorialized that she believes that that's rather silly.
I think I might end up with just 3 advantages.
What we have here is 2 failure and 3 advantages.
Oh god.
Uh-oh. All right, well. Does anybody remember what the rules for an assist another is?
One you use with a skill of one and the proficiency of another.
Okay.
Ability and skill. Yeah,
What's
so
your? I guess what is it plus mechanics? It's what, agility?
int.
Int.
Intelligence, yeah.
What's your int?
Mine's 3.
Okay. Gem will help you, so you'll end up with the equivalent of 4 int plus your mechanics. Your mechanics is 3?
No, she has none.
No.
Oh, you have no. Okay, so all right then.
She's maintain them.
Gem has 4 mechanics, so we'll use your 3 int and her 4 mechanics, and we'll try the check again.
The 3 yellows and a green. That's not bad.
So 3 int and 4 mechanics. Yeah, 3 yellows, 1 green versus 1 red, 1 purple.
So 1 red, 1 purple, 1 green, and 3 yellow?
Yes. Also, 1 setback die because you've done this before and you're starting to get frustrated. So that's a black die.
Okay.
What do we get? 1 failure, 3 advantages.
Holy shit. Okay.
I have a question, Gus.
Yes?
Lightsaber taken?
I will make you attack it as though you were in combat.
No, I'm asking. Has the lightsaber been taken?
Oh, has it been taken? No. No.
So Vader didn't take it.
No, he didn't, and the reason that he didn't take it was because one of the things that Doki showed you when he handed it to you is that you could take it apart by twisting the 2 halves apart, and upon doing so, it looked like 2 ordinary pieces of equipment.
So it was disguised. He did not recognize it. All right then.
All right, so here's the situation. You're going to get 1 more try, and then people are going to start noticing that there are unconscious people in TIE fighters and stormtroopers not at their post, and unconscious technicians near garbage dumps. So give it another shot.
Oh.
Unless Mister with the
you can upgrade. You can upgrade that last green to a yellow if you want.
Really make sure.
You've been giving us back our light side, so we might as well fucking use them.
Yes. Now, if there's ever a time to, now would be the time.
Indeed.
Awesome. I'm hoping we might have a success on that.
I think. What do we got here? God.
I can't keep
No
any...
failures, but net 2 advantages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I cannot keep a success. Actually.
Did you upgrade one of the dice?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why there's no green showing.
2 advantages.
Okay. Well, now is about time for the klaxon to start hooting. There is an option. You can fly the ship from the engineering panel. It's not very nice, but you can do it.
Somebody get on the guns and take out that tower.
I have gunnery of 1.
Well,
Go for it.
seems as how we might have to fly from the engineering panel anyways, take the lightsaber and fucking try to hack that thing off. Because you said I was going to have to attack it instead of just trying to slice it open.
Yes, the good news is it's only 1p. The bad news is that if you if you fail, you will damage the panel. If you despair, you will destroy the panel.
There is no ability to despair.
Good.
And flip me light to dark. I'm gonna upgrade me some shit.
Okie.
1 success, 1 advantage.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! So all of a sudden, Angela, as you're sitting there, all of a sudden you're shower of sparks, like an inch away from your left elbow, and the panel slides onto your lap and then onto the deck plate.
Get us out of here. Shut it down.
I'm gonna climb into the gunnery pod.
And by panel, I mean panel cover.
Okay. I'm booting things up and getting us ready to get the hell out of here.
Since I was
And the Diamond Jack is just vibrating with eagerness to run.
I was standing by the ramp anyways.
There are stormtroopers flooding onto the hangar deck.
The gun, the top turret or the top gun. Is it a turret or is it a fixed?
It's a turret. It's a quad blaster array.
That's all. It means that even doesn't matter which way we're pointing in, we can get a gun in that direction. That's all good.
The first target I'm going to shoot at is the control tower.
All right.
Is it
Takes a shot, Bob.
Is there any? What is it? 2 purple, I assume.
No, it would be 1.
One?
Definitely be a short range gun.
Okay. 1 success, 1 advantage.
There we go.
I don't know what the damage is on the quad laser.
Hang on a minute. I'll give it to you.
Well, considering weapon damage is like an order of magnitude higher than personal damage.
Yeah, I think whoever was in that tower is having a really bad day.
Well, it's accurate. So add a boost die. Like just roll a boost die now.
Okay. 2 more advantages.
Okay, so now they're fire linked. So essentially, you get to do 5 damage.
You may want to look at the weapon specs on there.
So 5 damage.
Oh, I get to do a crit too.
Yeah, well, hang on a sec. I've got to double check what linked means because
it means you have to spend advantages to fire the second set.
Okay, so I can't.
Yeah,
I either choose to get a crit or choose to get linked.
Well, you can't really crit on a control. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. What do you want? You want to do more damage, or do you want to take a chance that?
I'd rather just do more damage.
Okay, so essentially you've done 10 damage, which is pretty good. Plus your 1 success.
Yeah.
So that's 11 damage. So you've done 110 point. You've done the rough equivalent of 110 points of personal damage threshold.
So I vaporized anything.
So everybody in that room is dead, like straight up dead. And there's all sorts of equipment in there that's been sent all higgledy-piggledy. Also, the force field that had snapped up over top of the landing bay has suddenly disappeared. And all of a sudden, all those little stormtroopers, many of them have now become space troopers.
Excellent. Now the TIE fighters are in excess.
Now we'll see if they remember their training.
What is your training? Cry like a baby.
Fetal position.
Don't take your helmet off. Not even if you start.
No, don't shoot the TIE fighters until we're out of the
hangar.
hangar.
I'm going to wait for us to get to the door of the hangar first.
Good. Engines are well. You don't have to shoot the TIE fighter. You've essentially rendered the control room inoperative. Until they set up an auxiliary control, they can't launch. So you've taken 30 TIE fighters out of the picture. Boom. Well, 29 TIE fighters and a bomber. Either way, it's now time to get out of there, Vanny.
Punch it.
Pilot us away.
All right.
Now, the maneuver is fly, which apparently you can do for free.
All right.
Hang on a sec. I want to. There we go. Double check here. Maneuvers.
Either Do Ray or Nita somewhere with the.
You have an option really. You can either do the maneuver accelerate, decelerate, Fly drive, which you can't really do because you haven't even started moving yet. Evasive maneuvers, not so much. Stay on target, not even. Oh, here's one called Punch It. You can go immediately to your maximum speed rating on any other from any other speed by momentarily overloading the engines. This puts a strain on a craft to the tune of 1 point of strain, system strain, for every point of speed between the ship's current and maximum speed. So the ship's maximum speed is a 5. If you wanted to punch it, and it doesn't appear that it requires any sort of roll to do. I don't think it requires a roll to do.
No, it's pretty much just spend strain and that's what you get.
Now,
That's the strain.
depending on what sort of pilot you are, you may have a talent that allows you to mitigate that strain.
Hang on while I check where I've listed all my talents. Alright. Skill jockey. Okay, so it's all setbacks, up to 2 setbacks from piloting checks.
Don't need that.
Galaxy Mapper, Rapid Reaction, Full Throttle, which would increase top speed by 1 for as many rounds as Cunning. But that's a hard piloting check. And I think we're
not there yet.
Yeah. Astrogation checks, take strain to stars to initiative. I do not have anything to mitigate the strain of Punch It.
Well, luckily for you, the Diamond Jack is a tough little girl.
True, they can
You'll take 5 whole system strain, but hey, you've got another 10 to go.
Try not to rattle us apart.
And every turn I'm going to be on the engineering station removing that strain.
So, do you in fact perform the Punch It maneuver?
Yep, we need out of here.
She throws the throttle forward on that girl, and anybody who's not sitting down very much wishes they were. Willa goes flying through the air. She lands like on the wall behind the bed at the back and falls into the bed. All you hear is, oh, it's nice and soft. I think I'll stay here for a while. Oh, Kevin Merrill wanders over and says, make some room, goddamn, make some room.
One does. The Diamond Jack does not have a hyperdrive.
Doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
No, the Diamond. You guys have to make it to the Ruby Queen. Then you have to land quickly in the Ruby Queen.
Flip myself into the...
Are we still in the same system, or have we already left?
Yeah, the security officer that you grabbed kind of lied to you. He said that that you guys had gone to hyperdrive. You haven't gone into hyperdrive yet. For some reason, Vader was doing something on the planet, and he was just sort of on his way back when you guys decided to hold your little uprising. So the short of it is that if you can get out of the Star Destroyer, and it looks like you have, and you can get away from the Star Destroyer shooting at you, we'll take care of that in a minute. You should be able to eventually make it to the.
Well, I figure you come out, you go under the ship. I don't recall there being a lot of guns in the bottom of the Star Destroyer.
There.
And then come out behind the.
Not as many behind the ship though.
Yeah, like come out behind, like directly behind the engine.
They're in the engine wash, but that's all.
Yeah, well,
we can stay under that. That's fine.
That's very clever.
As long as we're taking a hemisphere of guns away from the Star Destroyer, we should have a fighting chance.
Toot toot toodaloo.
Not exactly not.
Toodaloo. Toot toodaloo.
turbo lasers. And we're not a big enough ship, I don't think, in the Diamond Jack for them to be able to effectively target us.
No.
So we've come out of here like a bat out of hell, and we're being pursued by things shooting.
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Well, you're not being pursued by fighters just yet. But the Star Destroyer has managed to target you. Hang on a sec. No, not the heavy turbo lasers. No, not the heavy turbo lasers. No, not the ion cannons. No, not the. No, not the tractor beam emitter. You're actually, if you actually go out essentially past the ion jet wash, essentially only one light turbo laser can take a shot at you. That's the way you've angled it. Only one can take a shot at you.
Shields.
And they're going to do it now.
Can I initiate evasive maneuvers or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Just remember, Jesse, that if anything attacks you anytime soon, you're going to have to take a point of. You're going to have to take a disadvantage if you're trying to shoot back.
Yeah. Why?
A setback, because of evasive maneuvers.
Okay.
Evasive maneuvers grants a boost die to well, it gives a setback to the enemy to hit you, but it gives a setback to you to hit anybody else.
Right.
So, that being the case, let's say 2 of those and 2 of those, maybe 1 of those. Now, you immediately went to 5, but we'll say that you're in the short range band. Starship combat in the short range band. Let's double check.
I believe from the last time we did this, the only difficulty rating is actually with the difference in silhouette size.
Right. Right.
We're considered a silhouette 3.
Yes, you are.
With handling of +2.
Indeed.
Which would that give me bonus dice on piloting checks when I'm making them?
Sounds possible.
I think so. You might want to double check that while I'm looking this up.
Because the negatives gave me setback dice.
That would give you a boost.
That's what okay, so we'll give me boost dice. I've never had boost dice for piloting. That's likely not. Yeah, the whole point of skilled jockey times 2 was to offset the Ruby Queen's horrible setback dice for handling.
And the fact that you can't do maneuvers at all.
No, there were a few maneuvers I could still do. By making the Ruby Queen bigger, it meant we had more actual gun power, so I could actually do a level 1 barrage, which we may need later or something.
I don't want to get into a head-to-head battle with the Star Destroyer.
I want to get into a battle with Star Destroyer. Thank you very much.
This is all mostly going on to escape. We'll worry about other things later.
Okay, so an Imperial Star Destroyer is Silhouette 8. You guys are 3. Oh my god. So at 4 points or more, then it's 5 purple to hit you. Good luck with that.
Awesome. Now, where am I taking this?
No, this is them,
Oh,
not you.
okay.
Oh, is your handling considered a setback against their attack? No, I don't think so, right? No, it's just a...
I think the only thing it does is give me blue dice on my piloting rolls.
Right.
For handling, the vehicle's handling characteristic dictates a number of boost or setback it adds to the player's dice pool. Baseline handling is 0, with extremely agile ships adding boost dice and slower plotting ships adding setback. All piloting to all piloting checks. Pilots add setback equal to the ship's negative handling value, or boost dice equal to the vehicle or ship's positive handling value.
Gotcha.
That's what handling does.
Awesome. I will actually be flying something with positive handling.
There's a lot of whiffing, and light turbo laser bolts blasting past you, but nothing connects. All right, so the whole idea here is that you put the Ruby Queen Dowager, I think, near one of the nearby moons, right?
Yep. We went and hit
Okay.
it in the shadow.
So the way you did it is you dropped out of the hangar, you went underneath the hull of the Star Destroyer, out behind it, avoiding the ion wash from its engines. And now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to fly all the way around the planet, because it just happened to be pointing the other way. You're going to have to fly all the way around the planet, then to get to the moon, rendezvous with the Ruby Queen, and then get the hell out of there.
So I would say we send a communication to the Ruby Queen, to Do-Re-Mi, saying plot a hyperspace course away from here and get ready for us to fly and land the Diamond Jack as soon as we're in. Punch it.
They can indeed do that. Do-Re-Mi do not have stellar cartographer, but they can plot a course, and they're pretty good at it. So when the time comes, we'll make the check for them. Unfortunately, you don't want them to start the ion, or you don't want them to start the hyperdrive now, because then they could accidentally jump away before you get there, and then wouldn't you be in a hole in a boat?
Land of the planet. Hide.
I can take Vader straight on.
Back to Korriban. Ah, sunny Korriban.
He's by himself now. Come on, we can take him. Right?
You probably could. That's the worst part. He hasn't been statted out so far in any of the game literature, right? So I have no idea what to do with him. Every time I ask, they're like, "Well, what do you want him for?" Well, fuck you. Just give me the stats. Never mind what are you, my mother? I swear, Angela, these people are frustrating.
It's probably at least a elite force user.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So,
Why my players?
that's what's going to have to happen. And so at this point, you're just going to have to sit tight and hope that no one's been sent after you. So it takes a couple of minutes with you guys sitting there. Those of you who are inclined can peel yourself up off the floor.
I'm going to maintain a rear-facing direction at the horizon of the planet, trying to spot targets if they ever come around.
Yeah, so it takes about 5 rounds for me to clear, or 6 rounds for me to clear that strain off the ship. So
Oh yeah.
15.
Okay.
Just in time. You guys begin to round the planet, and you start to get to the point where the instrumentation says you need to veer away from the planet's orbit to get to the moon. And that's when you see the TIE fighters. Because they went around the other side.
Shit. Really? Can you get any more out of her?
Unfortunately, in order to protect yourself from exposure to the Star Destroyer's guns, you had to add time for them to get organized and launch TIEs from the other hangar, the one you didn't fuck up. I think somebody needs some bifocals. That's what I think.
Oh, probably at the very least another set of glasses.
I think you'd look sexy as hell in bifocals. I just want to say that.
I noted somebody asked for more speed, which I could do.
Yes, you could.
Full throttle, which is going to be a hard piloting check, which I believe is 3 purples.
What's the difficulty on that? Does it say?
3.
Right. How many dark side points have we got left?
You have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
Oh my God, that's way too many. That's one dark side and 2, or one red die and 2 purple.
So you said one red, 2 purple. You said.
Yeah.
And I have 2 bonus. But you don't appear to have actually done anything.
What was that?
We seem to have an unmatched record for shitty rolls. I think my successes all got
Cancelled again.
cancelled.
All the bursts got.
Net 1 advantage.
Okay, so you weren't able to coax the extra speed out of the engines. So, in they come.
Evasive maneuvers.
I think to take a second action at this point, I think it's going to cost you strain to take a second action. I couldn't get a clear ruling on that. From the rules were kind of confusing, but like to make a second maneuver, because I think evasive maneuvers and punch it's an action. I think punch it is done as an not punch it, but full throttle. I think that's done as an action, not a maneuver. Does anybody know? Anybody? I can't hear all of a sudden.
I can hear you, Gus, but I can't hear anyone else. Hello.